February the 6th, and you are now cruising with your boy Big Ghost Rider, man. If I'm not mistaken, it's like episode number 43. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot to go over today. Basically, the content that we're going to be covering is going to be President Trump. President Trump, he gave an interview to NBC News. You know what I'm saying? I think they said it's going to air during the Super Bowl. So we're going to be talking about President Trump's interview to NBC News, the things that he said, you know what I'm saying, during that interview, you know what I'm saying, I think are very interesting, you know? And guys, good morning, Donnie. Good morning, Monton. Regardless, you guys, if y'all will y'all double tap y'all screen for me, please? Like the video. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys subscribe. I appreciate you guys showing up and showing you guys support every single morning. But if y'all would like the video, I would really appreciate it. But guys, like what I was saying was, regardless of what President Trump is saying, whether he's going to go left or whether he's going to go right, it's going to determine my opinion of him. You see what I'm saying? And when I say my opinion, I always tell you guys, I feel like the opinions that I take, the positions that I take, is the majority of the opinions and the positions of the American people. You see? So if I'm saying that I believe that this President Trump is doing is right or this President Trump is doing wrong, I'm saying it's a nonpartisan opinion from an independent, who's not getting any kind of political donations from either side of the aisle. You see what I'm saying? So please, if you guys will, I know I do, I take my opinion like it's a nonpartisan, like kind of what the American people are saying. Now, this interview that he gave that's going to play on the Super Bowl, it's a big interview, guys. You see what I'm saying? And in my opinion, regardless of which he decided to go with the interview, that would determine which way I would go with my response and what he had said in the interview. So I'm saying this morning, my Democratic friends, you guys might be a little bit upset. You might not like the stream. But you guys got to understand that if you guys are here just to hear me say something negative about President Trump, well, I understand that's your opinion and that's your prerogative, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here just to talk negative about President Trump. My goal and my job is to bring the truth. I tell you guys the news, I give you guys a news story, and then I give you guys my legitimate opinion on that news story. So guys, we're covering a story this morning that was published by NBC News, and it was on February the 6th, okay? Good morning, guys. As y'all come in, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Like the video. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Most importantly, guys, jump down in the comments, man. Let your voices be heard. We're going over parts of an interview that will air on NBC during this broadcast of the Super Bowl on Sunday. In a wide-ranging Oval Office interview that lasted nearly an hour, Trump claimed credit for the state of the American economy, including the effects of artificial intelligence revolution he has embraced, threatened that Iran's supreme leader should be very worried about possible U.S. attacks on his country, with a knowledge nod to the value of suspense, declined to rule out attempted to remain president beyond the year of his current term. This is what's important to me this morning, Ghost Rider. On immigration, that's where we're going to start, okay? This is new news. This is a new interview that has not been aired, okay? President Trump said his experience with Minneapolis taught him that he may need a softer touch after federal agents shot and killed 2 American citizens last month. That's word for word. NBC News, guys. Breaking news. President Trump, in a new interview that will air during the Super Bowl, said that due to the shootings of Renee Good and killing of Alex Peretti, due to the killing of American citizens, that he now thinks that ICE, with his immigration enforcement, he needs a softer touch. What do you guys think? I'm saying at this point, in my opinion, this is where Democrats could make a very, very fatal mistake, because this is an opportunity for us together as Americans to make the lives of Americans better. President Trump also said, and I'm not sure if it's in the news story, but we're going to get to it, that he's drawn down 700 troops, or I say troops. That's basically what they seem like, right? The ICE agents, 700 ICE agents from Minneapolis. And he's standing firm on the belief that Governor Walz and Mayor Fry should release the dangerous criminals that they have within their jails to President Trump and to ICE. So, guys, this morning, I'm asking you guys to jump down in the comments. Republicans, independents, and Democrats, it don't matter who you are. These are American issues. This is an American president, and whether you agree with them or disagree, the things he's saying is going to affect every last one of us in our personal lives. So, guys, in the comments, Donnie, what y'all think? President Trump saying he's going to draw down 700 of those ICE agents. You know what I'm saying? That's about a quarter of them. And then he said that, he's going to take a softer tone with immigration. Another thing we're going to go over that he said he's not going to go, even though he's eyeballing 5 cities that he thinks needs to be worked on. He's not going to go into those cities like that no more. I think this moment right here, in my opinion, y'all, is an opportunity for President Trump and the Republicans to take a turn, man. That's what I think. This is a pivot moment. We talk about an inflection moment, and I've heard plenty of people say that. I've heard plenty of legacy media people, podcasters. Oh, y'all know it's just President Trump. He gonna be doing the same thing he always doing. They say that about him all the time. He ain't gonna get in no trouble. He gonna keep it. He gonna get away with. How many of us heard him say that? But I'm saying, Donnie, this morning, I'm talking about that interview is showing me his mentality, where he's coming from, where his thought process is coming from. And where his thought process is coming from, according to what he's saying, and he's pretty honest usually about his words. Am I correct on that assessment? He's saying that he wants to take a softer tone as far as immigration and ICE goes, guys. That's good news. That's good news for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Drawing down ICE agents from Minneapolis. Trump's timely remarks about the lessons from Minneapolis when he recently reshuffled his leadership team with his most expensive and reflective to date about an issue that has dominated headlines, divided Americans as voters recoiled from the violence, distracted attention from his success in shutting down illegal immigration across the U.S.-Mexico border. I learned, this is President Trump in his own words. Whether you believe him or not, that's a different argument. He's still the sitting president of the United States. He said that he's learned that maybe we could use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough, Trump said. We're dealing with really hard criminals. Guys, Donnie, what has Ghost been saying the whole time? Let's be real. Let's be real. Come on, guys, let's be honest. If y'all follow the content, y'all know I've been saying this the whole time. Look, the American people, they support your policy. I called Joe Rogan's name about 15 times. I said they support your policy. That's why he got elected. I gave you guys polls in July to show that nearly 70 to 80% of the American public support deportating violent criminals. But the problem is, like we keep saying over and over and over, it's the execution. You have to be tough, but not that tough. His fine-tuning reflects the underlying tension between a MAGA political base committed to mass deportation of undocumented immigrants, regardless of whether they pose threats to the public, and more moderate Republicans, including some of his own administration, who prioritize apprehending violent criminals. What I can say about that, President Trump, if you want to listen to those MAGA people, because according to NBC and their analysis of it, they gave you Republicans. They you got MAGA and you got a Republican base. Well, NBC, how many people is that total? What percent of the electric popular is American electorate, excuse me, or the American populace is what? Moderate Republicans and MAGA people? You talking about, man, 30-some% of the people. You ain't talking about no independents. You ain't talking about no Democrats who oppose all of that. So listening just to a MAGA political base, see, you need to listen to Ghost, because Ghost gonna steer you right. You don't have the numbers. This is a numbers game. Anything in politics, in the end of what you do in America, is going to lead to an election. You have to be aware of this in all your moves and all the advice that you're getting, okay? As the White House pressured the Department of Homeland Security to arrest more people over this year of his term, and DHS officials pushed their subordinates to meet the targets to share the total numbers of detainees with criminal records, a lot of Democrats saying that President Trump on his immigration, the reason why they're going overboard is he's trying to catch Barack Obama, who's deported the most illegal immigrants in modern history with 2.7 million in a year, in his 4 years in a term. You see what I'm saying? So they're saying President Trump's administration is trying to catch those numbers. And in the meantime, in trying to catch those numbers, they're being overly aggressive. Does that make sense to y'all? They doing a little bit too much. That's what Ghostwriter been saying. Those who have been convicted of crimes or face charges. Major operations in big cities have led to a series of lawsuits against the Trump administration, and Ghost being a legal person. I'm going to emphasize that. And I think NBC News, somebody, it's like they listening to Ghost podcast, because they questioning President Trump about the amount of money that is costing the American government with these lawsuits. Those are numbers that's not being reported on. I'm saying, listen, you could be strong and you could be tough without getting sued constantly. You see what I'm saying? You protect, you as the White House, you're talking about the American president, the beacon of power in the world. You would think they would have the best lawyers to shield them. Not defending a lawsuit or protecting a lawsuit, because we could look at numbers. They're not winning all those lawsuits. We talking about to shield, to give advice prior to the lawsuit. That's what you want. You're talking about risk prevention. You want to not get sued and be able to execute your agenda without getting lawsuits. So many lawsuits. Violating the rights of citizens. That's why your numbers down on immigration. And both legal and undocumented immigrants, the legal immigrants, what? As well as the spat of federal court rulings, redistricting federal agents' actions, and reprimanding the administration for its tactics. Trump said he was not happy with two incidents when federal agents shot and killed American citizens Renee Nicole Good and Ellis Peretti on January 7th and January 24th. He was not an angel. This is his words. He was not an angel, and she was not an angel, he said of the deceased, before he noted that the killings were very sad to me, and asserted that immigration and customs enforcement agents shared those sentiments. I think they were both sad, he said, and you know who feels worse about it than anybody? The people of ICE. What I hope he's saying is correct and accurate. And I believe some of what he's saying is correct and accurate, Donnie, although probably not all of it. Good morning, ball striker. One thing for certain and two things for sure. What y'all think this morning? I think a lot of what he's saying is accurate, but I'm saying if it's not accurate, at least he's not going out there saying, oh, yeah, this was a justified killing, because that right there is so divisive, and it's killing him and the Republicans. I'm saying, you hear Ghost always talk about elections, always talk about the midterms. I'm talking about the political consequence of his actions, because like I always warn you guys, if the Democrats take over, the political consequences of his actions are going to be felt immediately. But what I'm saying, though, he still is the American president, And he still is the president, whether the Democrats want to admit it or not. Whether he want to admit it or not, he's still the president of the Democrats and the independents, all of Americans. So it's important for all of America, for all of us, for the interest and the business of America, to hear the American president said that he was not happy with two incidents when federal agents shot and killed American citizens. That's great to hear. That's great news. I'm saying whether you guys get down in the comments, and I welcome you guys, y'all could debate whether y'all think he means it, whether y'all think he's lying, the political implications of it. But I'm saying, in my opinion, this is Ghostwriter's opinion, to hear him say that, he is on the right direction and he's headed in the right way, to hear him talking like this. I am not happy with the two incidents. In my opinion, if President Trump on January the 7th, when Renee Nicole Good got killed, if he would have came out and said, I am not happy with the incident on January 7th, he should have started with that. I'm not happy with the incident of killing Alex Peretti. Alex Peretti, he kind of caught himself and he started walking it back. He started saying it. I mean, I don't know who talking to him. I know he talked to Governor Abbott. Shout out Governor Abbott. You know what I'm saying? In the great state of Texas, Governor Abbott's like one of the fairest men that I know. He's a Republican. Yeah, Ghost independent. Governor Abbott's like one of the fairest guys that I know, Republicans. He's one of the best Republican governors, in my opinion, in the country. You don't believe me? Look at his state. He's doing phenomenally, and he about to win his fourth term as governor. I always say he the only Texas that's safe, but I don't know who else he's talking to or who's calling him. Somebody with some sense is talking to him, because it's looking like he's got on the right path as far as immigration. And I'm saying, I'm not down in the comments yet because we got to get to the economy, but I'm saying I'm trying to figure out what my Democrats have to say about that this morning. What do you have to say about it? I mean, if we look at the overall picture, if you look at the picture, okay, his border, what about President Trump's border? That border is closed. That border is secure, and that's facts. I mean, he talked about not getting credit for his immigration, and he doesn't get credit for his immigration numbers. And that's just simply because of the bad things that's done happened. And he's got to be aware of that. The consequences for the deaths and the murders of American citizens, it's got him underwater on immigration. And President Trump, you might not believe the polls, but that is the absolute facts. So this morning, for Ghost to be able to tell you guys and report that President Trump, in a new interview he's got coming out during the Super Bowl, is saying that he wants to take a softer touch on immigration. He's withdrawing federal agents from Minneapolis. I got to say, that's great news, man. And I think that's a step in the right direction. What you guys think, man? I want to jump down in the comments real quick, and I want to get one of you guys' comments, and I want to see what you guys are saying before we move on to the economy, because I just want to get a good feel, you know what I'm saying, of what you guys to say. Ball Striker says a man has the right to either a Democrat or Republican. He doesn't need anyone's permission. Yes, sir, you are definitely straight. You are right. Let's see. Tony says my health care has tripled. Nathan says health insurance has risen for more under Democrats than Republicans. So that's where we're going to start right there. We're going to start with what Tony said about his health care tripling. Guys, I don't really see too many comments on immigration. You know what I'm saying? I'll spin up and see if I could get Donnie in here. See what Donnie said on immigration. Somebody said, thank God it's Friday, Montans. Yes, indeed. Donnie, I don't see you comment on immigration, so you guys ain't too much comment on immigration, so we'll move on to the economy and what President Trump said in his interview about the economy. Over the past year, Trump has been beset by the public perception that he has failed to fulfill his campaign promised to end inflation and turbocharge the economy. One thing I can say about this NBC interview, the interviewer, he asked President Trump, he said, President Trump, what do you think about affordability? And the fact that the majority of the people, they don't feel like you've kept your campaign promise. You haven't turbocharged the economy. And the thing about it that this interviewer, I like, because he went further and he said, and you know what, on top of that, you know what he asked him? He said, listen, and the truth of the matter is the prices, they were expecting to be down like in the first term Trump presidency, bro. I swear I was the first person to say that. The voters want that. I just said that yesterday in the freestyle part of the stream. The voters want that first term Trump presidency back. And when they looked at President Trump, they related him to them low prices before Joe Biden got elected. And I think that's killing President Trump. I've said that because I'm saying I pretty much knew that President Trump wasn't going to get the prices down. And y'all might say VP Harris might not. But what I try to tell you is that, I mean, in my opinion, she would have been addressing it more than President Trump did. On Wednesday, he said again that he is fixing what he describes as an economic mess that Biden left, pointing to the revenue generated by tariffs and foreign investments that have been and promised during his second term in office. He said he anticipates a slower rising process after costs peaked during the recovery from COVID. I don't expect them to be much higher. He said he inherited the worst inflation in the history of the country. It was through the roof. I'm saying, guys, what y'all think about that? President Trump, listen, I've said this 1,000 times. To me, it's not about if you're right or wrong. It's about the way the voters perceive it. And so, to me, that's just the same things on the economy. We see he pivoted on immigration, and that's huge, and that's key, and that's big. But on the economy, President Trump, it seemed like y'all pretty much with the same message, that you inherited something from Joe Biden. You might have inherited from Joe Biden, and that's true. But I'm saying, when you saying you inherited something from Joe Biden, or you inherited something from your predecessor, I don't care what job it is, I'm saying that's going to play the first 3 months. It might play for the first 6 months. Y'all feeling that? But I'm saying, if you saying you inherited something for your predecessor and you've been in office, you've been had the job for 13 months. I'm saying, and the prices still aren't lower. When that interviewer said that the prices aren't going to go down, I'm saying that message right there is a winning message for the Republicans that have killed the entire affordability argument. Is you telling the people, being straight up with them, and just like he came out and said there's short-term pain. Y'all remember that before the economy went down through the floor and then now it's hit 60 record highs? He needs to be able to describe to the people that maybe you can say, if you're saying this, if you taking ownership, but the people, the expectation of those prices lowering is what's going to get him. Do y'all understand that? The expectation of me voting for a man, because the last time this man was president, the prices was a certain amount. So I'm expecting that to happen again. That expectation alone is what's going to get him. So in my opinion, you have to kill that expectation. If the people are still sitting around waiting for the prices to lower. So you have to come out and be straight up with the American people. And the reason why I said that, because President Trump, and I've said this 1,000 times, he owned the affordability the crisis, when he was running for re-election. He owned the crisis. He said, the groceries, the prices of groceries, the stomach is talking. Y'all remember them famous speeches? He owned the crisis. He owned it. So since you owned it, and since you promised to get prices down on day one, I'm saying right now, you know in your head, this is what I don't understand about the people who are advising President Trump. Because if I was advising him, this the way I'm talking to him, and you're not going to get this nowhere else on no other podcast or legacy media, nowhere. If I was talking to President Trump, in my mind, I'm thinking, I know in my head, before time, predestination. I know in my head that them prices ain't gonna get no lower, and I also know the people are still thinking the price is gonna go down. Common sense ain't too common, and you know you got an election coming up. That's what matters. That President Trump is tapped in with, that he cares about, that affects all the Republicans in Congress. So you know what I do in this situation? I'm smarter than a fifth grader. I'm going to go relay that information to the American people. Those prices ain't going to come down. You got to lower those expectations, and you got to do it in a way that's profitable to you, in a way that won't hurt you politically when you do it. You see what I'm saying? I can't give you the whole game. You will have to pay me. But one thing I can say, idea that he has his rebate checks. Lamas, that's the guy who interviewed him. It was a great interview, by the way, asked Trump about relief for American public in the form of $2,000 tariff rebate checks he has repeatedly floated, a plan that would require legislation from a politically divided Congress in an election year. Trump declined to promise that the checks would be coming. He says, I'm looking at it very seriously. I'm the only one who could do it. Trump said, I haven't made the comment yet, but I may make the commitment. Guys, that's a way President Trump out for you right there is those checks, those stimulus checks. $2,000 is not going to solve all the problems of the American people who make less than $50,000 a year and who's struggling, as someone said earlier, who's seen their insurance premiums double and triple. What I'm saying, Donnie, $2,000 isn't going to solve them problems, but it'll definitely help. And it'll definitely help you at a time when President Trump, Donnie, could come out and say that, hey, listen, Donnie, you guys voted for me, and I know I told you I was going to lower the prices, but hey, before the election, let me go ahead and tell you, due to the mistakes of Joe Biden, I ain't going to be able to get the prices much lower than they are. But although he made the mistakes and the prices aren't lower, how I'm going to make up for that is I'm going to give you guys a $2,000 rebate check. I think that's fair. I think that helps his argument. I think that lowers the expectations of the American people. Donnie says if he says, I can't lower the prices after promising I will lower the prices, that hurts himself. And Donnie, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying. So because you know he knows the prices ain't getting lower. I know that. You know that, Donnie. The American people as a whole don't know that. They sitting there still holding on to the expectations. That's why in a Fox News poll, 7 out of 10 Americans, as I've said repeatedly, said that they don't think the economy is good. These people in their minds have expectations of the prices coming back down. Since they're not coming back down, recap quickly, President Trump should be able to relay that to the American people with the solution behind that problem. The prices are not returning back to first-term Trump. We want that first-term Trump back. That's what Go said back last year. The people were expecting that first-term Trump presidency. They knew about the chaos. They expected the chaos. But amongst the chaos, not only a good stock market, they was expected to be able to lose a job on Monday and be able to pick up 4 or 5 jobs by Friday. That's not what they seen. Representative Jasmine Crockett said America has shed over 1 million jobs. President Trump is saying, hey, Ghost, a lot of those jobs are federal government jobs. I heard him say this in the interview. That's not in this story, but I heard him saying this in the interview. President Trump said that if he wanted to get his economic numbers good, he would just go out and hire 2 million federal employees. He said that's what the Democrats doing. That's what Joe Biden doing. He was hiring all these federal employees. He said, I fired hundreds of thousands of them. I let them go to save money, cut budgets. I'm saying that stuff up for debate. But on the economy, we went over immigration. He took the turn on immigration. And I think if he continues to turn on immigration, and if he moves in a more sensible manner, the American people, they ain't looking at the numbers. The average American voter's not saying, oh, President Trump, he only deported 2.7 million. I mean, he only deported 2.2 or 2.3 million. And Barack Obama beat him by 400,000. They not going to do that. But they are seeing that killing of Renee Good. So I'm saying softening the tone, that lets me know that he done came back to reality, to his senses. And with a strong border numbers, you see what I'm saying? And if he continues to operate strongly on the border, because you got the strong numbers on the border. The thing about it is now is don't kill American citizens. Don't have those bad optics. That's the thing about it now. So if he takes that direction, while he has strong immigration policies and strong immigration enforcement, just not spraying American citizens in the face with pepper spray on camera. It's unbelievable. You giving gifts to the Democrats. As long as you move from that, I think he'll be pretty straight on immigration. As far as the economy, he's stuck in that affordability, as I said. The Republicans, you, President Trump, y'all will not be able to get away from this affordability argument unless you take ownership of the problem. Take ownership. Hey, guys, listen, the prices are not going to get lower. That's just the facts. Because you know that, President Trump, in your head, you know that, Big Ghost know that. All us political people, we know that. Them prices ain't going back to no first-term Trump presidency. We know that. And since we know that they not going to go back to that first term, I'm going to tell you that they not. I'm going to blame it on Joe Biden, and I'm going to give y'all a stimulus terror check for the prices not going back down. Tell me that's not genius. It's like if you get out there and you promote that, Ball Striker, and you get out there and tell the American people that directly, I think they understand, they're able to see, and they won't hold you necessarily all the way responsible for those high prices for that election coming up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm saying if you take ownership of that, you need to let those people know those prices not coming down, because they're expecting it. I'm saying if he's not going to spend a lot of time on it, a lot of energy, if he's not going to get an economy czar or something, or affordability czar or something, if you're not going to focus on it, because there's a lot of other stuff going on in the world that he needs to be focused on. So if he's focusing on the other stuff that's going on in the world, he's not focused. What I'm saying is that to me, this could kill you. It could still destroy your party. It could hurt him politically. And it's not going to change. How is he going to get the prices down? It's impossible. He realizes that. The Republicans, they knew it before the election, before he was saying that it wasn't going to happen. I think I said that on a live stream. So I'm saying there's still voters who's not tapped in like me and like Donnie and like you guys. There's still voters who's expecting him to lower prices. So what I'm saying, in my opinion, you get ahead of that by going out there and taking responsibility for those prices. And at the same time, in my opinion, like you could do that, and you could give out them stimulus checks while you're doing it. Donnie said it's not a solution. He says that that advice will lower his popularity by telling his supporters, I can't keep promises. Yeah, Donnie, it might be true or it might not be true. Donnie, listen, this is my opinion on that, and I appreciate that comment, Donnie, because that was great, so we can have that train of thought. My opinion on that is voters, Donnie, they are sick and tired of being sick and tired of candidates who make promises and do not keep them. The electorate's tired of that. American people are tired of that. Y'all tell me that where I'm wrong. That's why the majority of the American public are now independents, 45%. More independents than there are Democrats, more independents than there are Republicans, because people are tired of the nonsense between two parties. Both sides, both politicians making promises that they don't keep. And I'm saying President Trump, he's hustled hard, Donnie. He's tried to keep his promises. It's just how difficult the game is. So what I'm saying, if he's a straight shooter, that's the love he's got from people from being a straight shooter. So if he's a straight shooter, to me, the way we would say that you would solve any problem with any business is taking ownership of that problem. Because the dilemma is, Donnie, even if you can't say, I'm not going to keep, listen, Donnie, here's what I'm saying. Here's the whole, this is the how I'm going to say this. This is the catalyst to my entire argument. Right here. Regardless of whether what he says or does, the people are expecting the prices to be lower. True or not true? That's facts. They expecting that first term Trump presidency back. And he took ownership of lowering the prices. Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring that first term Trump. Day one, too easy. It's easy for me. I'm gonna do it on day one. He took ownership of that, Donnie. Because of that, like I continually say, he's attached to that affordability problem. That's why the majority on that Fox News post, 7 out of 10 Americans, President Trump is attached to that. It don't matter how good your economy's doing, your GDP, your stock market, yada, yada, all that, none of that matter. Them voters care about them prices, the rent prices, everything, the cost of living across the board. That's what they're focused on. So since the prices are never going back, Donnie, you have the same dilemma to where you're going to pay a consequence with a certain segment of the voters, probably a majority of that segment, because they're expecting the prices to be lower. And if they're not lower, they're holding it on you. What I'm saying is the thing is, President Trump, he knows the prices aren't going to be lower. So why wait till November and take a bloodbath? Or why go out there in front of the voters and say it's a hoax? Or why go out there in the voters and talk about GDP that none of the voters care about? I'm saying this information that I'm giving you guys right now is so critical to Republicans winning or to Democrats winning, because you could grab it and run the other way if you're a Democrat. It's so critical. I'm saying this is the whole argument that he's going to have on his economy. This is how you go from 7 out of 10 Americans disapproving in your economy to 7 out of 10 Americans approving in your economy. Because he knows that those prices aren't getting lower. Donnie, that's the whole thing. He knows it. So if you don't do nothing, Donnie, what's your solution? You can't come out and tell the American people it's a hoax. That's making it worse. Am I right or wrong, Donnie? If you come out and tell the American people it's a hoax, that's making it worse. If you come out and try to talk about GDP and stock market numbers to a person who making less than $50,000 a year and they ain't getting no GDP or stock market in their pockets, I heard that interviewer trying to ask President Trump that, but he was shoo-shooing it. Because you got 18 million trillion. See, this is the part where ain't nobody see, they ain't talking about this, but this is why y'all Republicans are losing. You got 18 trillion in investments in the United States, and I ain't felt a dollar of that trillion. Donnie, those are big words. I'm speaking for the average American, so don't focus on ghosts. Focus on 45% of the American population. You could be guaranteed this is how they feel. You got 18 trillion, President Trump. You said in that Super Bowl interview, you got 18 trillion in investments in the United States, but the average American hadn't felt $1 of that investment in their pocket. That ain't helping the cost of goods getting lower. We got to stay focused. That's why you losing. Donnie, Donnie, there's no solution that I've heard offered from the Republicans or his staff or that President Trump has said that takes care of this problem, because it's a problem. And I'm saying so early in front of the election, if I just go out there and blurt that out, like I blurt out a lot of stuff that don't hurt me or affect me, if you're going to lose the midterms, you're going to lose. But I'm saying, when do you ever see a politician, because they all say what Donnie say. Oh, we can't go out there and tell the people the truth because that's going to hurt us. That's going to make us look bad. That's why y'all losing. That's why people tired of politics, because you don't have a politician to just go out there and be honest with the people. Just be honest with them. Just tell them the truth. Oh, we can't go out there and tell them the truth because that's going to hurt our numbers. That's why people tired of politics. That's why Republicans sharing Republicans and Democrats sharing Democrats and independents going to the middle, who need a leader like Ghost, who just going to come out and tell people the truth and ain't going to lie to them. Them prices ain't getting lowered. We don't have enough I'm not Joe Rogan. And I don't know if Joe Rogan can meet enough of the American people that's going to listen to those type of people. When I'm saying, Donnie, them prices ain't getting lowered. So I'm saying they going to equate that on President Trump. What I would do is I'm going to kill all of that affordability. I'm going to kill the whole. It's just like the Epstein thing. You trying to fight something that you're going to lose. They had to come make a law that's going to be down in history for eternity. They got an Epstein law. Because you could have just got ahead of the story. We at the end of it. Or we close to the end of it. And I'm saying his name appears so many times, but he ain't getting charged when nothing happening. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can avoid all of that and all of that confusion and that back and forth if you just be honest and you take ownership of the situation. The ownership of the situation is, I'm going to go out to the Midwest. This is where Renee Good and Elvis Peretti lost their lives. So I might have some issues out here with some voters. So I'm going to go out to the Midwest in Iowa and I'm going to do a rally. And I'm going to talk to that little voter from Iowa. You know what I'm saying? She a college student living with her parents. She's struggling. She on her own, got her own job. She got a pretty good job, but she's struggling. She got a couple of babies. So I'm going to go talk to her. And I'm going to let her know that, baby, listen, town halls, talk to the voters, explain it to the voters, the prices probably aren't going to go lower. That's Joe Biden's fault. But I got a solution for you, Donnie. That's what I'm saying. You don't just state the problem. Donnie, me saying that the prices are not going lower is a truth that could probably set you free. Because people expecting them and they're not going lower, and you trying to do everything but tell the truth, Donnie. You trying to do everything but tell the truth. So it's a hoax. Affordability is a scam. You know, that's why you got to 7 out of 10. He probably was out like 5 out of 10 of the economy, people not thinking the economy is doing that good. But then he started saying it's a hoax. Now he's 6 out of 10. He done lost 10%. And then he started talking about the GDP and all this other stuff and act like the economy is good. He has 7 out of 10 people. And he keep on going, he going to lose the whole American voting. He going to lose MAGA people too on the economy. You 7 out of 10 disapprove on how you handling the economy, bro. That is a disaster. That's 70% of the people. That's his strong suit, is economics. And so, Donnie, since we know all of this, his strong suit economics, he getting beat on it because of an affordability issue that you ain't going to be able to fix. You trying to tap dance around this instead of just going out there and being honest with the people and saying them prices ain't coming down. It's Joe Biden's fault. That's the problem. I got a solution for you. It's a $2,000 check. So when that voter, or you might start motivating people, start getting the black voters, some of the black voters back. You start passing out money. You know what I'm saying? Some minority voters, the poor voters, he passing out money, they might go vote for him. Thank you, President Trump. Look, so you telling the voters, in essence, you telling the American people, you directing the narrative with the legacy media. that I had a problem. My problem is that the prices, inflation had raised to a place that could not be lowered with executive actions from no president. That's where them prices are. Period. That's where they gonna stay. Okay, so you going out there and telling the American people a problem that could beat you in the election, a problem that's beating you with the American people right now in the polling. You going out there and explaining. I'll have him on a tour across America. He needs to be out there with the people anyway. That's where he best. I'll have him out there explaining to the American people. Before I do anything else, before I go to China in April, before anything else, I get out there and the sooner the better, explain to the American people those prices aren't going lower. That's the problem. And I have a solution for that problem. And a $2,000 check, in my opinion, is the best solution. You give them the bad news and the good news at the same time. And that way, Donnie, we ain't got to worry about nobody in America who got half a brain thinking that I said I was going to lower the prices on day one and they not getting lower. I already addressed it. They're not coming down. I'm giving them a check because I wouldn't call it the American rebate check. I call it the American inflation check or the American prices too high check. So I'm giving it to you check. Signed by President Trump check with the gold letters check. Trump in the gold writing check on the checks check. This the American because the price Joe Biden's price is too high check. This is the American price is too high. Joe Biden's the prices they still too high. Here's the $2,000 American Joe Biden price is too high check. That's what I would call it. I'm saying whenever you decide to give out the checks, don't just give out the checks. Tell them I'm giving you these checks because the prices aren't coming down. Because that's what they're holding that, Donnie. I'm telling y'all got to listen to Ghost. Ghost going to tell you stuff that doesn't sound like what everyone else is telling you. But it's the winning strategy. It's the reason why, just like Texas Democrats can't win in Texas for 30 plus years. And like they want to nominate James Tellerico because he's a good-looking white 39-year-old candidate, but that's the reason Democrats haven't been winning in 30 years. They can't put it together. It's like they LD slow. The only way you gonna win is with Jasmine Crockett because the black voters aren't voting. It's the same kind of situation. They can't put it together. You keep going out there because he know the prices ain't getting lower. He know he can't lower the prices. Listen, this is what I believe with President Trump with an issue on his strong suit that's that important. If he could take an executive action to lower those prices, Donnie, we know we went over this, all 200 plus executive actions, ain't none of them really on the economy because he know there's nothing he could really do about it when it. So he can't write no executive action to lower those prices. Not standing on Republican principles, and he's not going to federally regulate it. So he got to stand on so he can't write the action. So this is what I'm saying. Since he know he ain't going to be able to fix them prices, I'm gonna go out there and tell him it's a hoax. When people like Ghost gonna play my words and me telling him I'm gonna fix them on day one, then I'm gonna go tell him it's a hoax. You losing voters. It ain't nothing no way out of this but to tell the people the price. I could see if you really thought you could lower the prices, then of course you ain't going to tell them that. You going to keep fighting them and you going to go tell the voters the truth. I'm fighting to lower the prices. I'm still fighting to lower the prices. I could see if there was a chance that you thought you could lower them. But I'm saying we know, he know, I know, the interviewer, NBC, everybody knows the prices aren't getting no lower. Everyone knows that. That's in the know besides the voters. The voters are struggling. The ones making under $50,000 a year, you know, the majority, the largest section of the voters making under $100,000 a year, you up to 60% of the voters. Yeah. The ones who going to decide the election. Yeah. The working class. Yeah. Those voters, they expecting some kind of help or assistance or the price to get lowered. So it makes perfect sense. I'm gonna own the problem. And I'm going to take the Otis off my back when the voters going in the voting booth in November. The prices ain't getting lower, so don't vote on that. Don't vote on lower prices in November, y'all, because the prices ain't getting lower. And y'all President Donald Trump is telling y'all that. But that is a problem, and I know you get mad, and I know I said I was going to lower them, and I know all of that. I'm aware of all of that. I know all of that. But because I did say I was going to lower them, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give y'all a $2,000 Joe Biden's inflation was too high check. I'm going to give y'all a $2,000 Joe Biden. Like, that's what I would do. If I were President Trump, that's what I would do. Donnie, to me, that's the best advice that you could give him to deal with that situation, because you got to own that situation. You guys have not liked the video. I ask that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, guys, if you guys want to donate to the channel, you can hit the button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. You all guys could also give a gift. You know what I'm saying? It's that box with that square. And so if you guys give a gift, I would appreciate it as well. One thing I do want to say, though, we got channel memberships. They start at $2.99. That's the best way to donate to the channel. If you want to donate to become a member of the channel, you guys just hit the button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. So this morning, we're going to keep going on with that NBC interview, that Super Bowl interview that President Trump gave to NBC. You know what I'm saying? We talked about immigration. He took a turn on immigration. We talked about the economy, affordability, why his numbers low on the economy. I gave y'all a little strategy on how to fix it. We're going to talk about AI, what he said about AI. So it says President Trump has been bullish about promoting AI. I'm going to skip through this, and I'm going to try to get to what President Trump actually said, what the president said. Everything is on me as president. That's what President Trump said, because they asked him about the proliferation of data centers, you know what I'm saying, higher energy prices because of AI, and the dangers of AI. So they asking President Trump about this. President Trump said, everything's on me as president. He says it'll be one of the greatest jobs producers. It'll be the greatest military producer. It'll be the greatest medical producer. He's talking about AI. He says there'll be tremendous good, and there'll probably be some bad too. So he's recognizing the bad possibly in AI. But my question is, President Trump, what you gonna do about that bad? While there are no clear partisan divides over feelings about the future of AI, some Americans have started to push back on the development of power-hungry data centers in their backyards, while others fear the technology could soon make their jobs obsolete. We talk about this all the time. In his interview with Trump, Lamas specifically cited job cuts at Amazon announced last year. Tell me, Ghost, we did a stream on this. I just talked about this, Donnie, 2 or 3 days ago. You see what I'm saying? Y'all let y'all know Ghost is directly on point in the stuff that I be telling you guys, because that's a great question that he's asking. The company cited AI in an announcement explaining the layoffs. No, it's not killing, Trump said. It's going to create a lot. Mr. President, there's widespread concern that AI is going to wipe out a lot of jobs, manufacturing jobs. That's what the Lamar said, the interviewer. President Trump said there's intense going to robots. No, this is what, I'm sorry, Lamar saying. No, President Trump, he said the internet's going to, robots are going to kill jobs. Everything's going to kill jobs. So I guess President Trump is reflecting back to when the internet first come out. People were talking bad about the internet, but this is completely different, AI, and it's going to kill jobs. That's what President Trump said. He said, and you end up, if you're smart, doing great. So President Trump seems to not be worried about the jobs that AI is going to create and kill. That's concerning to me, because to me, it's going to catch him flat-footed when it comes. I'm saying, what's President Trump's going to do? Do he have a plan? Do he have a strategy? Does he plan on bullying these businesses whenever they start hiring all the robots and they start doing mass layoffs? Because those days are coming. They're coming sooner than later. I'm saying, like, if you got an opportunity, why would people be teaching robots how to work and do regular human jobs if they weren't going to work and do regular human jobs? I worked at Tesla in Austin. I'm saying Elon hired over 100,000 people worldwide. And I'm saying, even with as many people as he got hired, he got so many robots in those plants making them cars. I'm telling you, that's a problem, Donnie, President Trump ain't focused on. I know right now in the interim, America is leading the world in AI research. No, I give you that. I give y'all that. Right now, you talking about right now in the presence, it's billions to be made. And President Trump is making money off of it. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of Americans. Let me say it like this. The United States is making trillions of dollars off of the development and advancement of artificial intelligence. China is a big user of artificial intelligence, but definitely in the development of the technology, America leads the world. The money's in America. The people are coming to America. Silicon Valley of artificial intelligence. I get that. So I'm saying in the interim, into the today, the money is going to create jobs. It's going to help your economy. But at the same time, I'm saying once you get them robots built and developed, today you are receiving money to build the robots pretty much. More than the robots. I'm saying America got a lot of investment in cars and a lot of things. But even in cars, the AI is going to be, President Trump, you said it. Let's go back to what you said in your own words. I'm telling you, President Trump, I'm trying to tell you, Ghost is the move. I told y'all 1,000 times, Ghost is the move, y'all. President Trump said it in his own words. This is his word. It'll be the greatest jobs producer today. It'll be a good job producer today. I don't know about the greatest, but it's going to be a good job producer today. It might produce jobs, greatest jobs for other robots to work or for AI to work or robots to work, because those businesses, I don't care, President Trump, if it happens in 2029 when you're not president. Before 2030 was the original projection and predictions. Those businesses are going to move away from the human workforce. They already started doing it. It's like President Trump, he don't want to admit or see something, or like Donnie said, it hurts him politically to say it. But it's the necessary thing to say because you got to be in reality. And the reality is, like President Trump, it'll be the greatest military producer. Yes, it will. But eventually, it's going to replace soldiers and troops. That's bottom line. Whether everybody, and a monkey knows that. Why argue with that? And he said it'll be the greatest medical producer. And that's right. Elon already talking about he got a robot that's a surgeon. I know y'all thinking, ain't no way I'll let a robot operate on me, but I'm saying when you hear about the robots that operate on people and doing better than that doctor, it's going to change your mind. That's what's coming. That's the future. So that's why I disagree with President Trump on the AI. It might be the greatest job producer today because you're still building and harnessing that technology. It might be the greatest job producer today because Elon said he want to build how many billions of robots, more robots than humans. It might be the greatest job producer today. But I'm saying when that AI come online for real and them robots, they done learned and trained and, oh yeah, he been 8, 9, 10 years, they've been training this robot. And this robot learning the whole time. They don't even know how to get its intelligence, and it's smarter than the humans, smarter and stronger than the humans. They're going to replace the human workforce. Unemployment worldwide in 2030 is going to be over 10% easily. I think it'll be closer to 15 to 18% worldwide unemployment. In America, it's going to be over 10% easily. Facts. This is in 2030. Within 4 years, unemployment is going to be at record highs. And it don't matter who the president is. You could blame the record high unemployment rates that's coming. You could try to blame it on whichever president is in office, but it don't matter which president is in office. Ghostwriter is telling you that's what's going to happen. It's coming. So if you prepare for that mentally, if you prepare for that with policy, AI. Last thing we're going to talk about, we've been streaming for about an hour, y'all. This President Trump's interview with NBC. Last thing we're going to talk about is nationalizing elections. This is something that I would love for President Trump, for his advisors. Look, President Trump, I said this already. He said that, hey, it would be boring if he wasn't making comments like he gonna take Greenland by military force. He said life would be so boring, but it's not cute because there's consequences for those words. This would be one thing I would get him away from, that rhetoric and them words. I'm saying I can't say that's why Renee Good or Ellis Peretti got killed, but I'm saying that mentality, that attitude, those actions, those policies, it all goes together. It ties together. That gangsterism, you need to get away from that as president, that gangsterism and that mob mentality. Yeah, you could be tough without being a mobster. Donnie, you don't got to be a mobster to be American president and to be strong. So nationalizing elections against the backdrop of National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard accompanied the FBI, on a raid of a Georgia voting center last week, and Trump began to walk back his recent call to nationalizing voting and have Republicans take over the election process. Trump has been trying to prove for 5 years against all available evidence that he won the 2020 elections. Donnie, if I could help y'all in any way, you got to get him away from that. That is not helping him politically at all. It's not helping him. I'm saying, listen, it's just like President Trump, them trying to prove to people that you did something with Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm saying a female sued him. I told y'all that in 2015, before he ran for president, a female sued him. That case got chunked out of court. It's been 50, how many years Epstein did? I know it ain't nothing gonna come out the end of that. When I'm saying President Trump, we looking at the same thing when you trying to dig up that 2020 election. Maybe President Trump does know some irregularities happened. This ain't the first election, President Trump, in 2020 that irregularities happened. I don't care if the government want to admit it. I don't care if the Democrat want to admit it. I'm not saying that our elections aren't free and fair, because I believe our elections are as free and fair as you could get. And that's just being real about the situation. For you to honestly say that in the 250-year history of America, that even 2020, there has never been no kind of cheating or nothing, that's ludicrous. It's public record. I could look it up, but I'm not trying to throw dirt on the American elections, because I'm saying President Trump need to leave it alone. Whatever happened, whatever irregularities happened, he's got to learn as a human. At 79 years old, I wish so bad I could have a relationship with that man so I could talk to that man, because I believe that I understand him better than other people and I can relate to him. He's got to understand to have a relation or a mentality as a human to where he has to let some stuff go. I don't care if you want to let it go as a human, but as the president of America, it's hurt you politically. It's hurt America in ways you cannot see and cannot understand. And the idea of having a unified front or a unified America in a world with a strong Russia and a strong China under President Trump, it seems like it's laughable and it's a joke. And the reason why is because you storming using a national security. Listen, okay, so he might have some evidence of some irregularities. Okay, you 64 courts though. President Trump, you went to 64 courts. So you say, hey, Ghost, this is new information. You know what I'm saying? I got some new, like evidence that there was some kind of irregularities or something off about that election. Maybe you got it. Maybe you got some evidence. That's why you investigate. What I'm saying is that still hurts you politically. Even if you right, it hurts you politically. Let Ghost be the voice of 46% of Americans. And if y'all don't believe me, anybody watching this live stream who could run the polls, run the polls. If you ask, and I'm sure they will eventually, if you ask the majority of the American people, do they want to see an investigation in the 2020 election, or do they want on the taxpayers' back, on our dollar, do they want to see a relitigation of a 2020 election? No. I'm saying, listen, if you do find out that there was some irregularities in the 20, I'm saying, what's the move? What's the plan? So, okay, I found out that they cheated in Georgia in the election. I'm saying, what does that do? That make you feel better? It make you want to pat yourself on the back? Hey, President Trump, come on over here. You don't got to pat yourself on the back. Ghostwriter pat you on the back. If you find some irregularities in the 2020 election, I'm saying, what does it do? What does it accomplish? It's not like they're going to say, okay, we're going to take President Biden's trophy back from him. And so President Trump, this would be your third term because you really won the last election. But you was president, but you wasn't in the White House. But you wasn't in the, come on, man. I'm saying the majority of American people, they are over a 2020 election. That's not helping you. You know what the American people care about? They care about their health care prices doubling. You know what the American people care about? They care about affording to put their children through college. You know what the American people care about? They care about the cost of rent being too high. The American people care about being able to afford to buy a house. That's what the American people care about. I'm saying you could throw immigration in that. They care about safety. They care about crime. They care about all of the above. But I'm saying this is the primary things that they care about. And so when we talk about that 2020 election and the American elections, yes, we want free and fair and safe elections. So President Trump, listen, let me look for all y'all Republicans before y'all go out the deep end and before y'all Democrats go off the deep end. That's why I'm independent. I'm in the middle. I'm going to bring both of y'all back to reality. Listen, there's no way in the world President Trump, being the president of the United States, is not aware of some things that are wrong in our election system. That's facts. He's aware of being the president, having access to almost any kind of intelligence that the American government has. He's aware that elections have been, there's been irregularities with it. Probably was some in the 2020 election. It's always cheating. It's probably cheating in every, how can you not? How many counties is in the United States? Let's look it up real quick. How many counties in the entire United States? Because isn't that how we doing elections, Donnie? Ain't we doing elections county by county? Before we look that up, let me finish this story. We talking about President Trump talking about he wants to prove that he won the 2020 elections. On Wednesday, after Republican lawmakers, however, tried to couch his comments as an endorsement of legislation requiring voter ID nationally, Trump disavowed his own remarks. I didn't say nationally, he said. I said there are some areas in our country that are extremely corrupt. So you see President Trump caught himself, and that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Like, you saying that, it just doesn't sound good. We want to take over the national elections. So they cheated me in 2020. Listen, I told you 1,000 times, I'm a realist. And realistically, anytime you get a bunch of human beings, you're going to get somebody in there lying. You tell me, look, how many counties in America? Hold on, I'm finna explain it to you. Both sides. I'm going to explain the Democrat side and the Republican side. How many counties? And then I'm going to tell you what's best for America in the U.S. You doing a race, county, you counting votes, county by counties, okay? So say you count votes county by county. Y'all hold up real quick. My phone acting a little bit stupid this morning, trying to slow me down. Y'all, we in here rolling. If y'all hadn't liked the video, y'all double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. There is 3,143 counties in the United States. And over 150 million people vote. So you telling me in over 3,000 counties and 150 million vote, and you don't have one liar? You don't have one cheater? You don't have one person who trying to put 2 votes, sir? 3 votes? Oh yeah, you got one. You might have one in every state. But what I'm trying to tell you, that happens in every single election. It has happened probably for over 250 years. It's probably not as corrupt as it used to be. It probably was super corrupt back then. But I'm saying that is just commonplace. For you to be talking about an election that you lost, it makes you look like a sore loser. Even if they cheated. I always tell y'all, it's not necessarily about the truth and what's right and wrong. It's about the perception, the way it's going to turn out. Even if they cheated, you got to offer proof that they cheated. And I'm saying everything you doing, taking them ballots, I'm saying it's going to be hard pressed for you to come out with a smoking gun. And if you do come out with a smoking gun, it's like the Epstein story. I don't know how much the American people would care. Because if you do overturn Georgia and you find cheating, I'm saying that might not make you win. If he won Georgia, will he have won the election? That's the question. I'm saying, bro, it's some cheating in there, bro. It's always cheating. It's always cheating. It's probably cheating for both sides, the Republicans and Democrats. I'm just going to be real. You saying free and fair elections. He's trying to say America don't have free and fair elections. No, I'm not. You just an idiot liar. I'm not a liar. I'm trying to say America has more free, fair elections than any other country in the world. That's what I'm saying. Our elections are freer and fairer than probably any other country in the world. We taught the free world how to have elections. You understand that? This is the democracy. This is Rome, baby. I'm aware of all that. But I'm saying you got cheating in France. You got cheating in elections. Anywhere you got a human being who got a tongue, and you got 150 million of them. How many in France voting? 10 million, however many in France voting. Yeah, you got corruption, 10 million people. If you had 25 church members voting, then you might not have no corruption there. Depending on what kind of church it is. If it's 25 people that I feel like are pretty straightforward, you probably ain't gonna have no corruption there. You might have 100. In some communities, you probably have thousands of people in the communities and ain't no corruption or no cheating. You probably have communities with hundreds of thousands of people with no corruption and cheating. But what I'm saying, across this vast country, 3,000 some counties, you talking about over how many people you know is cheating in there somewhere. Let's just be real. It's cheating in there. Even though it's cheating in there, what I'm saying, President Trump is cheating to help you and it's cheating to hurt you. It's cheating for the Republicans, and I guarantee you it's cheating for the Democrats. Both sides are cheating. Him trying to say just the Democrats are cheating is a false narrative. Republicans cheat too. If the Democrats cheat, Republicans cheat, it's a human thing. It don't matter what party you in. That's what he can't see. And that's what the majority of the American people see. That's why they moving to the independence. They tired of that bickering. They tired of that back and forth, that left, right, that blood, that crip mentality. And they moving to the middle. So I'm saying, like, we went over a couple of issues that he talked about, and I'm saying, President Trump, on immigration, you took a turn, softer tone, that's great. On the economy, you got to own those prices because you said you was going to lower them. They're not going down. You know that. I know that. Most of the voters don't know that. You got to own that. You need to go tell them so they don't vote on you and get your numbers up. And then give them a stimulus check. You gotta, if you don't give them a stimulus check, you gotta give them some kind of solution with those prices. You know what I'm saying? From the economy, we talked about AI. The thing I heard President Trump say about AI in the interim, You creating a lot of jobs and a lot of wealth for America. This is the largest industrial revolution in the history of America. Yes, robots will revolutionize the medical field. Every field there is, robots will revolutionize it. We played some of that yesterday on the live stream. I'm going to do a whole live stream about it real soon. But at the same time it's revolutionizing, it's cutting jobs too. It's cutting jobs. As far as Jasmine Crockett saying that President Trump shed 1 million jobs, he did shed 1 million jobs. But to be factual or to be fair about it, a lot of those jobs were in the federal government. He said the federal government was bloated. He said that's why his numbers are bad. He said that if he went out there and hired 2 million federal employees, he said he'd have the best job numbers ever, but he's not trying to trick the system. I sound like that's a pretty good argument for him on his jobs. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, that's my take. President Trump, he got an interview with NBC. It's a Super Bowl interview. You know what I'm saying? I just been streaming for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I'm just telling y'all on the things that I heard him say. I'm finna get in the comments, and I'm going to let y'all voices be heard. But I'm saying on the things that I heard President Trump say, I could really honestly say as a Republican, because I said, in my opinion, the last 30 days have probably been the worst 30 days of his it's definitely the worst 30 days of his presidency thus far. The Democrats, they stole his numbers on immigration. They owning the immigration issue. Democrats owning the healthcare issue. Democrats owning the economy issue, affordability. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying for Republicans and for President Trump, if he wants to stop the bleeding and he wants to make a turn, I think this is the time for him to make a turn. And he could start that turn by coming out and saying that we're going to take a softer tone on immigration. We're removing 700 ICE officers from Minneapolis. And I salute him for that. How can we not, if you're an American, how can you not salute President Trump for that NBC interview? Not just saying words, putting actions to words, drawing down ICE agents, saying that he sees 5 cities in America, like he saw Los Angeles and all them cities. Y'all remember that? Talking about they're so bad and he gonna send troops to them and then sending all the ICE agents, which are basically true, like doing all that. So I'm saying, like, he said that he's seen 5 cities in America that he thought need help, but he said that he's not gonna send nobody there unless they ask for help. With the crime numbers really and truly at an all-time low. No border crossings. I'm saying there's positives that he can lean into. There's positives that he can project and push forward. If President Trump, if you could take a softer tone, not just on immigration, take a softer tone on the economy. Donnie, how can he take a softer tone on the economy? Take a softer tone on everything. I think that's the difference, y'all. If you guys haven't liked the video, I ask that you guys will like the video. Who is this? Pat Reese says, there are much better than Trump been in office. I don't live in London, England. They hate him so much they won't tell the truth. Who hate President Trump so much they won't tell the truth? Bro, all I've been doing, you right though. A lot of people do hate him so much they won't, but Ghost gonna tell the truth. I'm independent. I'm gonna give you facts. It's important that we go with listen, if I was advising a politician, I would tell the politician, the American people are sick of lies and liars. They are so sick of it. They are sick. How many people in this live stream are sick of a politician making a promise or lying to you? That's why you talk to voters. I've talked to thousands of voters in over 20 states all over this country who said that Ghost, I don't do politics. I go up to him for an interview. Oh, I don't do politics. I don't care about who. It don't matter who win anyway. How many of us, some of y'all feel like this. A lot of us feel like that. Republican or Democrat, it don't matter who win. Ain't nothing going to change. It's going to be the same. I'm tired of. You know why? Because they've heard a politician say something before, and they counted on what the politician said or believe what the politician said, and the politician was lying. So the voters are losing trust. Just like with ICE, you don't understand the unintended consequences of words and actions. Just like when ICE go shoot an unarmed white American female in the face in front of the whole world. You have to be kidding me. And then to come out and say after that, oh, whatever you say that ain't the right thing, is making it worse. The unintended consequences of that is people are mistrusting the police. They don't trust the police. You setting back law enforcement. Because you can't think like how you think. You got to think how they think. You feel that? The average American, they don't know what a Fed is. It's just the police. So you got a girl in Minnesota or a girl in Louisiana, shit, now they hate the police. They don't want to cooperate with the police. They scared of the police, think the police going around shooting people because of what ICE did. Everybody's not as smart as you. Everybody's not well informed than you. You talking about 340 million people. You got to think like this. You got to have that wisdom. You got to have that insight. And so I'm saying, yeah, for Republicans, for President Trump, for his administration, the world is exciting when we could come out and say President Trump said he was going to take over Greenland by military force. You see what I'm saying? The stir up it caused, the excitement that it gives. That's what President Trump said. He said, what would the world be if it wasn't for me? And some of the stuff I said is exciting, but it's damaging at the same time. That's what I'm saying. President Trump trying to distance himself from that election into the 2020 investigation, or that 2020 election where he lost, he trying to distance himself from that. You see what I'm saying? Even if you distance yourself from that, what I'm saying, that does not help you guys at all, Republicans. It doesn't help President Trump. It's not helping his numbers. It's not helping his popularity. It's not helping none of that. President Trump, y'all, in that interview, he said he saw a poll where he had 70%. He had 70% popularity in one of those polls. He was polling at 70% approval rate. President Trump, that poll is definitely a Republican poll. Listen to Ghost. I'm going to be fair with you, and I'm going to tell you the truth. You do not have 70% of the American. President Trump, you never won 50% of the election. Maybe you can say that you think that the polls or you think that the elections are false, but what are we going to go by? You're going to have some kind of cheating in an election. Every election is not going to be fair. No election that elected no person in the world probably was completely fair unless you had 25 people vote. Maybe if you had 10,000 people or less vote. You talking about 340 million people. I'm talking about some people who vote wasn't even counted. They was cheating too. I can tell you that. I don't need no crystal ball. I'm just an intelligent guy. And I know human behavior. I understand human behavior. So if there was irregularities, which it probably was, I'm saying, what's it going to benefit bringing that back up? It's not helping you politically. President Trump, if y'all want to keep the Senate, that's what I'm going to say. I heard somebody say that in the polling, so across generic ballots, across the board, the Democrats, with their lead, they're set to pick up about, I think he said 12 seats. I said 10 to 15. I think they're going to pick up 10 to 15 seats regardless. Like Donnie said, the Democrats might have already lost the House. But I'm saying you don't want to lose the Senate either. You don't want to lose the Senate too. That's going to make it twice as worse for President Trump and the Republicans. If you got Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House, You know what I'm saying? Because I think Hakeem will win. I don't think Chuck Schumer would become the minority leader. But if you had Chuck Schumer as the leader of the Senate and Hakeem Jeffries, that's double trouble for President Trump. Hakeem Jeffries is going to be bad enough. You don't need them to take the Senate too. Texas Senate seat is up for grabs. If you look at the polls, Jasmine leads some of the Republican contenders. It's up for grabs. The South Carolina Senate seat, we talking about solid red states. We saw a Texas district get flipped. A 17-point Trump district in a red state, Texas, get flipped. In a district the Democrats had running 30, you can't say that's cheating. That's a 31, 32-point swing. That's not cheating. You can't cheat no 32-point swing, can you? Come on, man. So that's my take on what President Trump said. Regardless, what I want to say, man, I think it's great to hear President Trump to come out and say that he is wanting to take a softer tone on immigration. You got to give him a round of applause for that. Republican, Independent, Democrat, think about Minneapolis and the suffering of the people of Minneapolis, the suffering of the people in Minnesota. So if whether or not where you are in politics, that's good for America. That's unity. That's what Ghost's been calling for the whole time. After Renee Good got shot, that's what I've been calling for the whole time. So if I see President Trump, if y'all see me on this live stream and y'all heard me say, I think President Trump needs to come out and tell the people that the prices aren't going to get lower, blame it on Joe Biden and give him a check. That's how you get out of those bad economy numbers. If I see him do it, what y'all think I'm going to do? What y'all think I'm going to say? I'm going to badmouth him? No, if I see him do it, I'm going to come on. That's what I said that he need to do. How I'm going to say he need to do something and then he do it and I'm going to talk bad? No, I'm going to tell you that's the right thing to do. And I don't care what nobody say, you cannot argue with him. Him coming out publicly, the President Trump, we know, the proudful, strong man that we know, whether you think he's strong or not, or you think he's a coward or not, however you feel, you know how he is and his personality. That's facts. For him to come out and say he taking a softer tone in Minneapolis on immigration and he withdrawing 700 ICE agents after they build them up that much, I'm going to salute him for that. That's what I've been asking him to do. That's how he turn around his numbers on immigration. That's how you do it. President Trump, people don't care about your closed border if they witnessing a girl getting shot in her face, especially a white girl, especially in the Midwest. Ghost understands the implications of a lot of things. People don't care about your strategy, President Trump, or they don't care about your border closings or your deportations of those tens of thousands of criminals, which is a great job. They don't care about that. Alex Peretti is what they gonna see. You could tell somebody that you got Michael Jordan, he finna show up down here at the mall. Everybody care, everybody interested. You gonna have 100 or maybe 1,000 people show up. Boy, you tell them somebody got shot or something like, so it ain't funny, but something bad like that happened on the internet, everybody gonna watch that. Who ain't gonna watch that? Bro, the YouTube know that. Any kind of people who do any kind of promotion or make any kind of videos, violence, sex, those kind of things is what sells. People gonna be in. You tell somebody, but that's why the Epstein file is so popular. You tell somebody about a salacious sex story, everybody gonna know that. They're not gonna care about no GDP. Who you think care? Bro, if people cared about GDP, President Trump, everybody would understand what GDP numbers are. So when you tell them you could have had a 7.1 GDP, for Ghost, that's astounding. That's unbelievable. That's performance. But for the average American, if they're not feeling that in their pocket, it don't matter. That's what that NBC and President Trump, you don't want to hear it, but what those reporters are, President Trump, if you listen to them reporters a little bit more, they do a way better job at advising you than your advisors. Y'all tell me Ghostwriter don't be saying some profound things. And President Trump, your advisors are doing a better job of advising you than your actual advisors because they're not going to tell you the truth like the reporters are. Caitlin Collins is telling you what the people think. What the people saying, that's what Dana Bash is saying. This is what the people saying. You need to answer these questions. So you brought $18 trillion in for America. How's that going to help that woman out there in the Midwest who said her health insurance has tripled? You bought $18 trillion for America. I'm saying, how's that going to help any black voters who are losing jobs and finding it harder to get jobs? How's that going to help me go buy a house or somebody pay some rent? I'm saying $18 trillion for America is not helping no Americans. That's like the Chinese being the second richest nation in the world. But their people make on an average, what, $30,000 a year or less? When the average American is making 80 plus $1,000 a year. Because your government's rich, but the people not so much. So $18 trillion you got in investments, President Trump, you got to give some of that money to the American people. Let's see how many taxpayers we have in America. How many taxpayers in America? How many taxpayers? Taxpayers. How many taxpayers we got? So an estimate 165 million income tax returns. So you take 165 million income tax returns. It's going to be a whole lot of money, boy, to try to give a $2,000 check. 165 million income tax returns times 2,000. What's that is? That's 3.3 trillion if I'm not mistaken. It's a lot of money. But if you got $18 trillion, I'm saying you got to give a portion of that back to the American people. You have to. That tax rebate check should be like, he shouldn't be saying he's considering that. I think without that tax rebate check, the Republicans going to lose 30 to 50 seats. At least 30. And if y'all think that sounds ridiculous, in 2018, the Republicans, what happened? Last time President Trump was president, during the 2018 midterms, the Republicans lost 40 seats. 40. You didn't have an affordability problem. 2018 midterms, that was before COVID, that was before everything. That was with that extremely high GDP. He had stock market numbers. Even his job numbers, I mean, he lost jobs, but his job numbers weren't that bad in the 2018 elections. Republicans lost 40 seats. 40. And I'm saying the conditions and the climate is worse. Look at all of the special elections. It don't matter how the elections ran. It don't matter what candidate. It don't matter what district. America has moved and swung to the left. We can see it. How many points? 12 points, 13 points, 15 points, 18 points. You can't trust the poll. True. That's why I say you can't trust the poll. But one thing for certain and two things for sure, if you look at the trends, America has swung all the way to the left. And that's due to President Trump's policies and the things that he says. So as a Republican, if you want to keep some of the power and if you want to keep some of the chaos down, because the Democrats, President Trump calls it, y'all go say profound things. Y'all listening? President Trump called a lot of chaos on his own. But you know what 2020, the summer of love was? It's President Trump's chaos plus the Democrats' chaos. Because I'm saying the Democrats going to come with that action when they win. Congress. I think they already going to win Congress. It's just about how much they going to win Congress. Not Congress, the House of Representatives. I think they already going to win the House of Representatives. It's just about how much. I'm saying if you mess around and let them win all of Congress, the Senate too, I'm talking about the Republicans, y'all going to be completely silenced. And President Trump is going to be a lame duck president. And you're going to have a Gavin Newsom who's not in no political office. He's going to be trolling them, messing with them. I'm saying I could see these things and I try to call these things to your attention, by you changing a couple of things. Like I said, taking a softer tone on immigration and ICE in Minneapolis, I think that's a fabulous thing. To come out there and say that in a Super Bowl interview, millions of people going to see this. It's a fabulous thing to say at a fabulous time. I seen that interview, and I disagree with him on policy. Like I said, on AI, I disagree with him on his approach with the economy. Because like me and Donnie talked about, I'm going to get down in the comments and I'm going to let y'all say it. Like me and Donnie talked about, the problem is that he knows that the prices are not going to get lowered. He knows that. I know that. The interviewer asked him that. The prices ain't going down, sir. So how do you handle that? Oh, it's a hoax. It's a Democratic hoax. That didn't work. You bleeding voters. So what you say after that, Donnie? It's not a hoax, then what you say? Oh, well, it's Joe Biden's fault and we got high GDP and ain't nobody care. $18 trillion in investments. We don't feel that in our pockets. $18 trillion in the investments in the United States hasn't lowered the cost of rent $1 in America. $18 trillion in investments in the United States hasn't fixed the rising health care premiums, in America. That's what I'm saying. He's got to understand that. So how do you fix it? By owning it. That's how you fix it. These people going to vote thinking that I'm going to lower the prices. Hey, guys, them prices ain't going to get lowered. But because they not going to get lowered, I got the problem and the solution. I am owning the problem, so don't go in there voting thinking that you vote me out because I promised to lower the prices, because I'm going around America talking to American voters, doing town halls, announcing that while I'm telling you that the prices aren't going to get lower, here's my contribution. This is called the Joe Biden inflation checks of 2026. With a big gold Trump signature. the Joe Biden inflation checks of 2026. That's how I would do it if I was President Trump. We went over everything, y'all. Let's see. Jared said, yeah, tell that to the extreme right. Also pointing out, really, when you're manipulating is a name calling. Facts are facts. You just don't like them. Marcus says affordability and the ICE propaganda from the left is going to hand the Democrats the win during the midterms. I don't care for either party, just facts. Hey, I've been saying that 1,000 times, Marcus. That's why I'm saying President Trump coming out. Listen, I said this before, Marcus, like, your boy an independent. I keep it 1,000. I like Republicans and I like Democrats, bro. I like Marco Rubio. I've been liking Marco Rubio. Been liking him. You see what I'm saying? JD Vance, I think JD cool, man. It's just what it is, real talk. So if we look at the state of Texas, bro, you know what I'm saying? Republicans, they big in Texas. That's Bush country. You know what I'm saying? I'm very fond of the second Bush, especially I know what kind of person he is. I know he have great character. I'm fond of Governor Abbott, man. You feel that? I think Governor Abbott is the only Republican in the state of Texas that's safe. I think he has a very, 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 very good message. Not safe, he's safe and he's fair. He's a just guy. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that some Republicans, some people, one or two of the ones that President Trump respects, that I feel are fair and just people or men or Republicans or politicians, they, even though if I was in Texas, Governor Abbott wouldn't be for me promoting for Jasmine Crockett. You understand that? He a Republican. But what I'm saying is, even though he can understand, Republican or not, it's somebody with some sense. He can understand. Regardless, listen, if I was a big Trump supporter, okay? Say if that was me, and say after the killing of Renee Good, I could come out and say, hey, she was moving a car towards us, because you could argue either side. I would say as a black man, we would never, in no circumstances, a federal agent say, get out the car, we finna get out the car. We ain't finna put no foot on the gas. You know what that means. These are federal agents. We ain't putting no foot on no gas and driving no car. No black person towards a federal agent, you know you dead. You might be dead with, let me stop that. But I'm just saying, like, you feel that? So I'm saying I could come out and argue and say, hey, she drove the car towards the federal agent. But I'm saying that's not what the American public's seen. What I'm saying is you got a Republican who's smart enough. That dude need to run for president. Who's smart enough to be able to tap into what the other side is saying and feel. Even though I'm not supporting Governor Abbott, I'm not supporting Jasmine Crockett, Ghost. Ghost want me to endorse Jasmine Crockett. That's political suicide for me, Ghost. I'm not finna do that. I'm not going over there. Even though I might see some good qualities in her or see why you like her or want to support her. Yeah, she a great politician. She a strong female candidate. And she from Texas. He did. Look, Greg Abbott, I know you're a Republican. You got to have some kind of pride in that. Y'all Republicans in Texas, y'all got to have some kind of pride in Jasmine Crockett, boy. Or if you don't, you will soon. You feel me? But as an independent, I like both sides. It's easy for me to be able to talk to President Trump and say, hey, that Renee Good, I don't care what you're saying. Nah, don't do it again. And not only do it again, you really need to lock that cop up or do something about it. At least have him investigated or fired or something, reprimanded. And at the same time, you need to come out to the American people and say, hey, we're not trying to kill no American citizens. Those are the things you need to do. But since you didn't do that, that harm has been caused. You have given the Democrats, like the man said, election propaganda to run against you in the midterm elections. Because when America then forgot about Renee Good, all I got to do when I do a campaign video, all I got to do is turn that video back on. And it's going to bring up all those bad emotions seeing that girl get shot in the head 3 times. Whether she right or wrong, the American people don't care. Like I keep saying, that female voter, that 22-year-old female voter in Michigan, she not going to care whether or not that girl was right or wrong. All she's seen in her mind is the police shooting a girl in the head when he could have got out the way. He did get out the way, and he could have lived, and she could have lived too. That's all they see. Are you going to vote for this? Oh, yeah, the Democrats going to use that propaganda in you in the midterms. You don't give them that. Don't give them that. Thank God for Governor Abbott. Thank God for the common sense Republicans who could call President Trump because he's still president of our country. And those ICE agents, he still got the authority. So, yeah, thank God so he can see. That helps all of us be safer. And say he going to take a softer tone and he ain't going in nobody's cities with that nonsense no more. It takes some swallowing some pride for him to say, the Democrats, I salute him for that, but being a negotiator. If he backing down some, Governor Walz, you need to back down some too. Mayor Fry, you need to back down some too. Y'all need to open up them jail cells and let ICE get them illegal criminals. If they tell me, listen, if ICE tell me, if you open up your jail, I'm going to get the criminals and I ain't going to mess with none of the citizens in your city. What you holding on to the criminals for? That's stupid. Hey, ICE, y'all come get these criminals out of my jail. Come get them tomorrow. What you waiting for? You ain't here yet? It's been the second day. Y'all still ain't here 48 hours. Come get them tomorrow. Come get them yesterday. You come get them. I got some Americans you could take with them too. I'll empty the jails to ICE. President Trump, I ain't talking about no traffic ticket people. I ain't talking about somebody stole a Snickers bar out of Walmart. I'm talking about them criminals, rapists, robbers, murderers, violent criminals, illegals you got in your jail. Yeah, ICE, come get them. I might let some petty crooks go too. You in jail, boy, come get them. Get them out of my jail. ICE, come get them. And that means you ain't going to mess with the Mexican citizen who been here for 30 years. These are President Trump's words. I would hold him to that if I was a governor or a mayor. He's saying that if you let us come in your jails, he ain't gonna come in your city. You know what I'm saying? Or he gonna cut down operations in the city. I'm saying, look, you got to give a man kudos for addressing law and order or addressing crime. You got to give him kudos. I'm gonna give him kudos for the stuff that he deserved kudos for. My point is the voters ain't going to on all the stuff. That's all I'm saying, and it's because the way you handle stuff, President Trump. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Xeric says, mind reader plays a victim. Some more poor you people on the internet call you what you're acting like. Patrice says, thanks for the conversation. I'm out. You welcome. You know what I'm saying? See you later. I appreciate you. Before you go, though, if you still here, you know what I'm saying? I like your energy. So I'm going to go ahead if you still in here. I try to add at least one moderator on each stream, you know what I'm saying? Somebody I'm feeling it. If you guys haven't liked the video, you guys go ahead, double tap the screen for me. Like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Guys, y'all know what time it is, man. We've been streaming for about 2 hours. I can go 45 minutes with y'all. 45 more. You know what I'm saying? I've been starting early at 6:30. I need to push the time back. We'll have a lot more views, a lot more people in the stream. I think if we start at 7 a.m., you know what I'm saying? Tomorrow morning, while I got 100 of y'all still in here, we got a new episode, man. It's not a Jasmine for Texas episode, but guys, if you guys don't know, I do the Jasmine for Texas episodes, you know what I'm saying, twice a month, where I'm trying to help Jasmine out with her ascendancy. This is what I want to let y'all know. I heard Jasmine, you guys could go to the post on my YouTube page and you guys could see all of this. Jasmine did an interview. Okay, look, before I get out, I want to play that interview that Jasmine did, and it relates to James Tellerico, okay? Like, guys, I know this President Trump, I gave Big President T a lot of praise today, you know what I'm saying? I hope we could stay on this path, President Trump. I hope we could go back to Ghost Rider, not being MAGA, but just highlighting the good things in your presidency you've been doing. But President Trump, since the last 30 days, like I said, right before the killing of Renee Good, I can't come on here and just be talking good about President Trump when I'm watching American citizens get shot in the face. That don't matter how much, if it was Jasmine Crockett's district and that was happening and I was aware of it, and it was happening by law enforcement, and she wasn't, or she was coming out and defending that, I would go against her too. I'm gonna protect the rights of the people. I'm fond of Big President T. People who know me, they know that. I'm fond of him. I don't have no problems with President Trump. I don't feel like he done nothing to me. As a matter of fact, when he was president, when he became president, I got the largest amount of money from the U.S. Treasury in my life. That's big facts. I give VP Harris credit for that too, to a certain extent, because, you know, it started under her. And Jasmine Crockett, she was the closest federal official in the state of Texas to me at that time. So the Texas Democrats and Texas Republicans who made that happen, I salute that. On the federal level, facts of the matter was President Trump was the sitting president when the U.S. Treasury gave me the most money I ever got in my life. So I'm going to sit here and tell you that I don't hate President Trump whatsoever. No hatred in my heart for him. I want to see him win. I want to see him succeed. Look, he got his problems. We all do. Maybe he got more problems than the average politicians. I used to too before I became a Christian. But what I'm saying about him, though, there is good about him. I think he's a fairly decent human being. In his older age, he's got a lot more mouth. He's got a lot more meat. So I'm going to tell you guys, go watch. If you guys watch the Super Bowl, you'll see the interview on NBC. Or you could catch it early on YouTube. Your boy Ghost Rider saw the major parts of the interview, and that's what we went over today. So if anybody like President Trump, stay on that interview path, I'm not going to agree with him politically on everything. I'm trying to give him advice on the economy, though. I think that's the best way to handle it, is ownership, owning the problem and providing a resolution. That's what they'll tell you in any business. He should know that. He a businessman. So I'm saying, like, I give advice on where I give advice. The way he handle it is going to depend on the Republican success in the House of Representatives and in the Senate in this November. So he's got a lot politically riding on the midterms. Him talking about nationalizing elections, all those kind of conversations, they do make things exciting, President Trump, but they're not helping you or Republicans in this election year and election cycle. He's got too much negativity on him. Turn them next 30 days around by coming out and said, I'm going softer. We still tough, but a softer tone. That lets me know somebody with some sense is talking to him. A softer tone. That's going to make your political climate not be as violent. You the leader, President Trump, whether the Democrats like you or not, we all say president when we talking about you at some time or another, because that's what you are. If you take a softer tone, Mr. Leader, that's going to unite. You got to have people around him who are not partisan. I love you, Marco Rubio, but you're a Republican, so you're going to think like that. You're going to think with a right slant. He thinking with a red slant. Regardless of how good of an advisor you are, Susan Wiles, y'all Republicans. That's what I'm saying. You need someone who's not a Republican, who's not a Democrat, but I'm going to tell you both sides, nonpartisan. Somebody call me a judge. You could call me that if you want to. I love my country. I love Jasmine Crockett and I love Greg Abbott. Both of them. Fond of both of them. I love Governor Abbott. He's got a disability like I do. I stayed in this state. I think he's a fair guy. I think he's a good guy. Look at the economy of Texas, for Pete's sake. Yes, I love Governor Abbott. I like Governor Abbott. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to stand all 10 on that. And you know Jasmine, my baby. So, Jasmine, my baby, I'm trying to get this phone on because I want to address James Tellerico before we take a little break. Because you know Mr. James Tellerico, who Jasmine is running against. You know what I'm saying? Mr. James Tellerico. I'm going to let Jasmine tell y'all the story. You know what I'm saying? But we live tomorrow morning, though, at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Because Mr. James Tellerico, Ghostwriter, going to be freestyling on your head. James Tellerico, he hiding and ducking smoke with Jasmine. So y'all know on episode 6 of Jasmine for Texas, my advice was hold up, let me look at the live stream. So episode 6 of Jasmine for Texas, we did on 3 days ago. New polls show Jasmine is in position to win the nomination. I said, I told her about, I talked about VP Harris and how VP Harris didn't make a distinction between her and Joe Biden. You see what I'm saying? And how that cost her because Joe Biden's poll numbers were so low due to inflation. Well, on episode 6 of Jasmine for Texas, I said Jasmine needs to do the same thing with James Tellerico before any of this came out. Jasmine, baby, you got to get in on him. You got to get in on that TV advertising. He talking about the Super Bowl. Yeah, baby, don't waste no money. But you in the Democratic Party, she got it locked up. She understand that, but he going out to independents and Republican, baby. You got to stay with him. You got to punch with him. You don't let him punch. So now, hold up. Before I say this, I said debate night 12 days ago. It's debate night for the Democratic Senate seat in Texas, gloves off. So the last 2 live streams, I've been talking about how Jasmine Crockett needs to draw a clear distinction between herself and James Tellerico. A clear distinction. So that being said, if you guys hadn't heard of the little drama that's going on, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to play for you, Jasmine, and I'm going to let her tell you in her words. If you guys go to, on my page, go to post, And I posted it under post. It's this interview with Jasmine Crockett.
Last time I talked to you, you were talking about, you have name recognition, especially in Democratic circles, Democratic voters. Your opponent, James Tallarico, announced today that he's airing an ad during the Super Bowl in the Houston market and then statewide. And some have asked me, so I'll ask you directly. They've seen Tallarico everywhere, and they're saying they're not seeing Jasmine Crockett. Is that intentional?
Well, I don't know that it's intentional, and I don't know how accurate it is. I think that donors want you to be respectful and smart with their dollars, especially as people are struggling in this economy. And when you've got small dollar donors like I do, $5 and $10, they don't want you just wasting money. And frankly, the reason that Mr. Tallarico has to spend, I think at this point he's probably up to $6 million that he's spent in this primary, is because, like I've told you before, we do have very high name ID as well as branding, and he's attempting to introduce himself to Texans because while he's been...
So Jasmine is saying that James Tallarico, her opponent in the Texas Senate seat on the Democratic side, he's doing a Super Bowl ad and he's running it in Houston. She's saying he's wasting his money. And I agree. Because I'm saying in Houston, he's doing it across Texas, but I'm saying in Houston, the only people who are going to turn out and vote for James Tallarico on March the 3rd is going to be primarily Republicans and independents. And good luck on getting a lot of Republicans to vote for you and not vote for their Paxton or vote for their Cronin. So he relying on independents to win. He cannot beat her within the Democratic Party. Democratic voters. The girl's smarter than I thought she was. Because you know what Ghost is. Y'all know what Ghost is. She's smarter than I thought she was. She knows this. She knows those black voters are key, especially in a Democratic primary with a Democratic Party. So he running the Super Bowl. I see a Super Bowl with James Tallarico. I'm changing the channel. So who he running the ad for? Younger, progressive, Hispanics, and maybe a couple of blacks, but it's mainly for progressive whites. He don't have enough progressive whites to win in a Democratic primary. James Tallarico, you aware of that? So you trying to get independents, which would be a great strategy, but I'm saying if you don't have Democrats to show up and vote for you and you a Democratic candidate, how you gonna win? It's common sense. I don't see, for James Tallarico, I don't see no way out of this for you. You cannot beat Jasmine. That's just my point. That's just what I believe. So Jasmine's basically saying, as far as his Super Bowl ad, we're gonna talk about this in depth tomorrow. She's saying he wasting money, especially playing it in Houston, because he's not going to get those voters. Listen, a Democratic candidate, there's about 340,000 black voters that will register after Beta Aurora, and they are in that Houston, Harris County area. If she gets them voters to turn out, she's going to beat the Republican. Those are the voters needed. That's why the Democrat keeps losing, because voters aren't turning out. Primarily in Texas, black voters, guys. Texas is majority minority. Texas is majority black and brown. You have a brown senator and a white senator. You see what I'm saying? So James Tallarico, a white guy, that's not representing America. And Jasmine is the one to represent Texas. Listen to what I'm saying.
Elected for a longer amount of time. He's not been at the forefront of these fights, and Texans don't know who he is.
Do you think with early voting, let's just say about 2 weeks away, will you be getting up on the airways, or are you focused on your ground game and sticking to your gut?
It is all of the above. We are following a more traditional stance of what it looks like to do GOTV. And I do want to remind people that I do have a job in D.C. in the Congress. And so I really have been focused on that as well. And I've been doing everything that I can to make sure that the people that elected me in Texas 30 know that I am not neglecting them whatsoever. So we did recently have 1 week of recess. We did record a commercial that will be going up, and we actually got...
See, y'all know Jasmine for Texas, episode 6. Y'all go back and look at the strategy session, the tips. That's 3 days ago. So 3 days ago, Ghost said that she needs to start with her TV and her social media promotion commercials. Did I not say that? Donnie, did I not say that? For you guys who are always in this, I think Titan Brew is in the live stream. You guys who are always in this live stream and y'all watch that Jasmine for Texas episode 6, I said that. So listen, Tellerico is running a campaign to where he that's the campaign that Tellerico's campaign that he's running. Jasmine has to switch to that campaign for the general because she the underdog. Even if Texas has more Democrats, her running Tellerico's campaign is not going to hurt her in the general. Because what Tellerico's campaign looks like, if Jasmine's running that in the general, it's going to look like it's 30 times bigger. Y'all feeling that? Because she's going to have Democrats with her. So she's going to have the whole Democratic Party. What Tellerico can't get to, he's not going after Democrats. He's going after independents. I'm trying to tell you, Emerson Poe, they trying to tell him that's how he wins. Listen, with Jasmine, if she runs that campaign in the general, she's got the whole Democratic Party, all those black voters that you need, and she picking up white progressives, and she picking up Hispanic progressives, and she picking up independents. That campaign is good for her if she runs that campaign in the general. The campaign, the girl's smart. I'm telling you, she is highly intelligent. That campaign, that regular campaign she's run, that why wouldn't she? She, amongst the Democratic Party, she's beating him by 13 points. She's right. Amongst the Democratic Party, it's just that a lot of independents and some Republicans are going to show up, probably more than she polled in her internal polls. But in her internal polls, I think they're absolutely accurate. Amongst the Democratic Party, she's beating them by 13 points. He doesn't have a chance with the Democrats. But Texas has an election in the Democratic primary where independents and Republicans can vote. So he's trying to get a coalition of voters who's not necessarily in the Democratic Party to show up and vote. That's why I'm saying her running that campaign in the general is her key to victory, in my opinion. But her running the campaign she's running right now, she's running the accurate campaign. And I think she doesn't have to spend as much money. You know what I'm saying? James Tellerico, he's all or nothing. He dropping the whole bag. Because he know he probably don't have to. That shows whoever's spending the money, it shows you the weakness. You see what I'm saying? Because the majority of the candidates who win in these elections, they spend a whole lot less money than their counterparts. Like the Democrat who won in District 9, I believe it is, in the state Senate race, that 32-point flip we always talk about in Texas. I think he spent $400,000. She spent like $2 million or something like that. He spent a portion. Mendami spent a portion of what Cuomo's spending. Because you spending a whole lot of money don't mean nothing. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, and she's wise about it. So I'm confident that Jasmine knows what she's doing, and she's doing it strategically. But I'm just saying, it's just time to start on the airways now. He wasting money on the Super Bowl, but you strategically gonna go and target those 340,000 African-American voters in Harris County. And I guess it's good you're doing a Democratic primary because you engaging them right now because you're going to need them in November. So you want to make sure you have the operation and the machine, the ground game in place to engage those voters, and not only engage them, if necessary, bust them to the polls, get them to the polls. And those voters are primarily in Harris County. I think Jasmine, those voters in Harris County that I keep always talking about, those black voters who are not voting while the Democrat is losing with a majority minority state in Texas, she gets those voters to the polls in that primary against Tellerico. Those numbers, Tellerico can't win. She's got too many Democrats with her, guys. And that's what we're talking about. Let me see if we could get back to this video. You know what I'm saying? See Miss Crockett. Get back to Jasmine and what she has to say in the video. So, guys, again, this Jasmine Crockett. I'm playing this because tomorrow we're going to be live. It's not a Jasmine for Texas live stream because James Tellerico, she finna get to it in a second, his super PAC. That shows me how weak James Tellerico is. He's weak, bruh. Y'all know the stuff he said about Culinary. And instead of standing 10 on what he said, so he said Culinary is a mediocre black man. So basically what James Tellerico, I think, is trying to say, I don't want to cover everything today, but it's so much to cover. What James Tellerico is trying to say is that Culinary, like, you know what I'm saying, mediocre black man, trying to say the campaign that he ran when he got drugged by Ted Cruz by like 8-9 points. That's what but instead of James Tellerico standing on it, he walked it back like, I really didn't say that, or I didn't mean it like that. That's weakness. Instead, James Tellerico super PAC is saying Jasmine can't win the election. She a black woman. You see what I'm saying? Instead of James Tellerico saying that and standing on it, he got a super PAC saying it and doing it. And he coming out trying to, he think he's slick. So he make a comment dogging on Culinary so he could say something positive about Jasmine Crockett. And at the same time, his super PAC coming out behind the scenes saying that she can't win the election. That's what he really want to say. You see, if he was a fighter and he was strong like President Trump gonna say what he say, whether it's popular or not. We all know that. President Trump take the consequences of saying stupid stuff or saying the wrong stuff or saying whatever he feels he is right. When I'm saying James Tellerico, he's not strong like that. He's too politically correct. Texas, we tired of regular politicians, and the black voters are not going to go vote for him if you skip over Jasmine. They're going to stay home again. I can promise you that. Jasmine, the only way you gonna win. Let me play this for y'all, though.
Got started with our digital program here recently, so we will be everywhere that we need to be so that people know that early voting starts on February 17th and that we are absolutely seeking their support in this primary to go on and battle it out with whichever Republican ultimately emerges in May.
I know there were rumors that you were going to start an attack ad against Tellerico, but today we saw a pro-Tellerico PAC attacking you, saying, quote, "If she wins, we lose." What is your response to that?
You need to know that a global settlement
hey guys,
is coming in 2026.
Look, I want y'all to pay attention to this. So y'all heard what said. The reporter said that Tellerico had a pro-PAC or someone support him that says if Jasmine wins, they lose. Y'all heard that, right? Okay.
Isn't that interesting? There were some people that called this out, right?
She said some people called this out. How go saying? I'm saying there's people who called out what Tellerico said. I salute those people. There's people who called out what he said about Colin Allred. Colin Allred called it out. But what I'm saying is I called out that she need to get after him. You don't want to be too soft. You a female. You a girl. And Jasmine, I know you got that dog in you. Y'all listen to what she finna say. That's what, if I were running VP Harris, you're not going to be soft as a girl. You got to this is a man's sport. You got to get in here with these men and you got to slug with these men if you're a female. And you got to do it without losing your femininity. But you got to slug with these dudes. Because you a girl, they going to look at you as you soft. You see what I'm saying? So look, this is what she said about Tellerico. You know what I'm saying? Tellerico want to get a super PAC to say if she win, then the Democrats lose. This is what Jasmine say. This is what she got to say to you, Tellerico.
There's a couple of things about this that reek of hypocrisy. Number one, my opponent has kind of spent his entire campaign promoting this idea that he's going after big money and campaigns, yet we know that he has been signaling, as it was laid out in the New York Times on yesterday, he has been signaling for about a month for those same big guys and dark money to get involved.
Jasmine needs to say that. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. That's big. Basically, she calling you weak, James Tellerico. She's saying you weak. You weak and you soft. She's saying that the whole time you fake. She's saying you fake. Yeah, she calling them fake. Y'all didn't hear it? You want me to replay it? She's saying that he never was he going after big money. Like he Bernie Sanders at AOC. He a fake. He a fraud. He going after big money. That's what he's saying. But in the background, he taking all the big money because he know he can't win without big money dollars. He ain't going to win anyway. But the average person, the average voter in Texas, Jasmine going to outpace him. He been in the race for 3 months ahead of her. 3 months. She just got in the race. He already dropped 600,000. I think she might have dropped 900,000, just under $1 million. You see what I'm saying? Which is understandable because ain't nobody really know him. But what I'm saying is his super PAC coming out, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? He taking money from super PAC. He got a super PAC now, but he going up against big money donors like he Bernie Sanders or AOC, like he a real progressive. He fake. He's soft and fake. Instead of him just being smart and somehow funneling the money into his campaign and just come out and saying, hey, if y'all vote for her, you won't win. If the Democrats see that, that's what he don't understand. Black people want to see you strong. That's how black people ain't go vote for Beto. They ain't go vote for Colin Lowry because he's not strong. What I'm saying is profound right now. A black person want a strong candidate. They looked at Obama like he was strong. Plus, he was the first black man. You talking about a white boy, he up here soft, trying to attack all the black candidates. He going after Jasmine now. He hiding behind a super PAC who he said he wouldn't take no money from. So he's soft and fake. That's what she's saying. Jasmine, you need to call that out to the voters. I know the black voters see that. I know the black voters with Jasmine, period. You just got to motivate them to the polls. But for them independents, Jasmine, you need to pick them off. He getting crowds of 5,000 people. He doing Super Bowl rap. You need to pop him in his head. I'm telling you, that's how President Trump win. That's what he do. He pop people in his head. You got to pop that dude in the head. You got to let them voters know she's being all polite and nice. And I know her handlers probably telling her that this the same thing with VP Harris. Don't go after him like Ghost will go after him, saying he's soft, fake, weak boy. He's soft, fake, and weak. I bet you Jasmine could beat him up in the fight. I'm going to get after him tomorrow. So I'm saying don't go after him like that, but you got to make a contrast what she's doing right now. You got to do it everywhere with the voters. I hope they do another debate. Make a contrast with this dude. Texas don't want a regular politician as usual. They're going to vote for the Republican. If I got 2 regular politicians and one of them's a Republican and one of them's a Democrat, they voting for the Republican. That's what I'm saying. Tellerico, I said this on one of the Jasmine for Crockett's. When the average voter like me that you need to go vote, who don't vote, who you want to need to win the election, because you got more black and brown people, they just not voting. To get me to go vote, Tellerico ain't going to do it. Tellerico, the reason why I ain't voting, he look like Beto. He looked the same thing. He looked like Paxton. I ain't voting. He looked like Cronin. I ain't voting. He looked like Ted Cruz. I ain't voting. He looked like all the rest of the Texas Republicans. He the same candidate. Jasmine's the difference.
And they decided to get involved and specifically attack me. I just want to be clear about something. You know, we laid out ads. They were going after this administration for what they're doing. That is what's been running. But if anybody knows anything about me, I am a fighter. And I may not start the fight, but if you start a fight, just know that I always have a response, and I usually finish the fight.
So look, that's what we want to hear. She a Jasmine. She says she a fighter with a response that finishes the fights. So Tellerico, you started it. So she says she gonna finish it. So tomorrow morning, y'all, at 7 a.m., you know what I'm saying? It's not a Jasmine for Texas. It's a regular Riding with Ghostwriter episode number 44. I'm freestyling the whole stream on Tellerico's head. So if y'all want to come talk politics, Texas politics, first hour, I'm gonna put an hour on your head, Tellerico. I wish I had the platform to speak to the voters in Texas specifically, because you say the New York Times ran the article because they know Jasmine is the move. New York Times, baby, what go said? Hey, Jasmine, you see that? Hey, you got the support up here, baby. New York Times up here. They ran the article. You heard her. She said the New York Times, what goes there in New York? Yeah, we running all the articles to show James Tellerico you will not beat the Republican. You are James Tellerico, you are a ordinary candidate. You a white boy who been in politics forever. Oh, you a Presbyterian minister. That's fair. That's why the Democrats always losing in red states. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Maybe in Mississippi, Tellerico, maybe in Alabama, Louisiana, not in Texas. It's too. This is how you turn Texas blue. The Democrats don't have the money, but if they did, they need to invest in this. This is how you do it. This is the right candidate to motivate them voters that are blue that aren't vote. You have 2 million more voters than they do, but they not voting. And Tellerico, if you skip over Jasmine for that white boy, I'm gonna tell y'all just like it is. I don't care how you don't like it or not. I'm on your head tomorrow morning, boy. If you skip over Jasmine for that white boy, then them black voters ain't showing up. And Texas gonna be red again. And you lose Texas and South Carolina, you definitely gonna lose the Senate. This your chance. You see what I'm saying? Just like Donnie, I told you, President Trump, he could go out there and own it. He could do it as all the other politicians do. When have we ever heard a politician say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I was wrong. When have you ever heard that? Have they ever tried that? They don't think that's a winning strategy to admit you was wrong to the people. That's what the people want. They know you're not perfect. They know you're a human. They know you would make mistakes. That's why I'm saying I'm saluting. If I'm saluting President Trump saying he going to take a softer tone, I'm saying a lot of Democrats, that's not going to matter to. First of all, you in the wrong party, they going to hate you. Second of all, they look like you could take a softer tone, but Renee Good and Ellis Peretti, they're not coming back to life. You see what I'm saying? But for the persuadable independents, I'm saying that's what we want to hear from you, President Trump. Do the right thing. That's how you win. It's simple. You could get all complex and too educated, but that's how you win. Tellerico, the right thing for you to do is to back out that race like Colin did. You saying Colin's a mediocre black man, but Colin would have beat you in that race head to head. He was beating you in the polling. Tellerico, you're not as popular amongst Democrats in that state as you think you are. This is a Democratic primary. You should have ran as an independent in the general. That's what you should have did. Tellerico, if you wanted to help the Democrats, you should have ran as an independent in the general, and that would have probably ensured that the Democrats would have won because the Republicans like you, because you one of them. You ain't no different than them, Tellerico. That's facts. That's why in that Emerson poll, they polled all them Republicans and they chose you because they like you. Be honest, y'all. If you're a Republican in Texas, you're not going to vote for him over Paxton. You're not going to vote for him over Cronin. But you like Tellerico, especially more than Jasmine. If you're a Republican, that's what I'm saying. He more like them. So Jasmine, yeah, you take them gloves off with him. He a fake, weak boy. He fake and weak. Texas don't want that. They don't need that. Democrats, when they look at you, James Tellerico, you fake and weak. And the only way you gonna win is against a fake and weak Republican. You ain't beating them though. The black people ain't showing up and voting. They see two fake and weak candidates. A fake and weak Republican. If it's Paxton, they see a fake, maybe not as weak with Paxton, but a fake crook with Paxton. With Cronin, the Democrats who you need to win, they say fake and weak white dude, Republican. And James Tellerico, they say a fake, weak white dude, Democrat. You ain't no different. Jasmine is what's going to win that race. Your super PAC saying you can't win with her, they as stupid as you are. That works in Mississippi where you have more Republicans and independents. You don't have hardly no Democrats. Texas is full of Democrats. There's more Democrats than Republicans. They just not voting. So how you get them to vote? With James Tellerico, with the same fake and weak white boy? No, that's not how you get them to vote. You're going to get skull drug with Tellerico. The way you get them to vote is with Jasmine. The black voters in Texas are not going to put up with you keep skipping over a black candidate for a white boy who ain't going to be no different than the other white boys who've been running Texas for that many years. Governor Abbott ain't like them white boys. Governor Abbott is a big difference. You can look at him as, come on, let's be real. Let's be real. The man with his disability, though, that's why he a fair-hearted, good-hearted, soft-hearted, everything-hearted. And Texas, God been blessing Texas. Fastest growing economy states in the U.S. You laughing? The states with the fastest growing economy in the U.S. Who y'all think top 5? I bet you they all blue states but one. What you think that red state in the top 5 is? Come on now. States with the fastest growing economy in the U.S. Let's see what they are. What y'all say they are? Because y'all hear Ghost always saying Governor Abbott's such a good governor. The Democrats saying Governor Abbott's such a good governor. States with the fastest growing economies. Let's see. I can't believe this. Somebody on here lying. They got Florida number 1 in growth. They got Texas number 2. This part, I know this ain't right. that must be some old stuff. Yeah, because this say 2023. Let me look. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Strongest economies in the U.S. in 2025. This is paynice.com. This look about right. So look, what we looking for, y'all? We looking for GDP. We're not looking for, let's look for GDP. I mean, if we're going to judge the United States economy by the GDP, how are we not going to judge the GDP of the state's economy? Number 1, top 10 states by nominal GDP in 2024. Number 1 was California, 4.10 trillion. You know that number 1 with California, you know they rank California amongst nations. They run Texas too. The top American states they run, but I'm saying California is like number 4 or 5 in the world. Number 2, guess who you think it is? You already know. Texas. Number 3, New York. Shout out Governor Hochul too, man. Support Governor Hochul for her re-election here in New York too. Number 4 is Florida. Hey, I know all the states. Hey, shout out that boy, I ain't even trying to say my boy name here, Republican in Florida running for governor, black dude, man. I support that man for governor. And Illinois is 1.1 trillion. So your top 5 states by GDP, California 1, Texas 2, New York 3, Florida 4, Illinois 5. You can ask Jasmine or any Democrat in the state of Texas when you're talking about a bad economy. I mean, New York's so blue. You could hang it up. California blue too. So even when California got high prices, you know what I'm saying? That's just Democratic votes. You're just making people vote Democrat. I'm saying like you go to a state where you could talk the economy, like I'm saying like or a Republican, or you could win a vote. I'm saying a state like that, it can't be no state where it's an all blue state. You know what I'm saying? Where the economy's bad and you could win votes. You could try to do it in Pennsylvania for Republicans. You could do it in Michigan for a Republican. You could do it in Wisconsin for a Republican, but the Republicans got the power now. So if people look at the economy bad, guess where them 3 states going? That's why they purple. They going blue now. They was red. They are red. The economy's still bad. They finna be blue. I'm saying it's easier for a Democrat in those states. Thank you for the donation, baby. Thank you for the gift. It's easier for Democrats in those states to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? The economy's bad. We're going to run on the economy. Michigan, those swing states. For Jasmine in a state like with Texas with their economy, I'm saying you got to tell people constantly that you running on an economic issue. You feel that? You got to constantly telling people that but I'm saying in Texas, bro, people getting jobs and people doing everything. So it's a harder fight for her to fight talking about the economy's not being good. That's Governor Abbott. If Governor Abbott was a Democrat, California GDP number 1, they governor probably gonna be the next president. It might be the next president of the United States, Gavin Newsom. I salute Gavin Newsom all the time. I like Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, cool as a fan. He cool as the other side of the pillow. He is. He cool like President Trump. He just a different personality, but Gavin Newsom cool as a fan. Bro, you know how many famous black dudes that I know that they love, bro, they linked in with Governor Newsom out west, boy. Governor Newsom is the move. I like Governor Abbott too. I like Governor Hochul, shit, Democrat here in New York. And you know, Jasmine, that's my baby. AOC, that's my baby. I like, you know what I'm saying, VP Harris. Like, I choose politicians by their policies and by their personalities. I don't choose politicians by party. You know what I'm saying? That's hard to believe. The two biggest figures from Texas outside of Ted Cruz is Jasmine Crockett and Governor Abbott. And you would think y'all would be completely on different sides of the aisle, but I like Governor Abbott. I became fond of him. I like the way Texas run their government in the state. I do. I think Texas is ran better than a lot of states, and they got money too. They got the economy. X Jared says this anti-American administration is bad for all of us. You said anti-American, you got to provide your proof. Prove that Trump hates America. I mean, you want control of the Senate and the House of Representatives, all of Congress, right? Prove President Trump hates America. You could say that. You could see by how he's responded to certain situations and certain policies. You could say that says he hates America. Well, Republicans say the same thing about Democrats. President Trump called Joe Biden the auto pen group. Joe Biden and them, he said they the auto pen group. But you ask him, he said they almost destroyed this country. You ask President Trump and the Republicans, if he wouldn't have got elected, our country would have got destroyed. Instead of getting $18 trillion, Joe Biden would have borrowed $10 trillion. That's what President Trump say. I'm fair about it. So that's what I'm saying. You got to show me proof how President Trump hates our country. President Trump said he was suing America. That's the closest proof that I could say. How you the sitting president? Hold up, I got to put my glasses on for this one. How you the sitting president and you suing the United States? To me, that's the closest thing that I could hear you say to him hating America. But guess what he say he doing with the money? He giving it to charity. That's not hating America. You taking money from the state or from the government and you giving it to the poor. That when Ghostwriter heard that, and listen, Ghostwriter heard him say that and heard say he was softening his stance in Minnesota. I said, I'm gonna do a good live stream about it. Stay on that path, President Trump. I'll rock with you. I'm taking ICE agents out of Minnesota. I'm gonna take a softer stance. I'm not going to the 5 Democratic cities that I think need help next. I'm not gonna do it unless they ask and say, please. Oh, what? Oh, he didn't tell the about face. Oh, yeah, then I'll rock with you on that. I'm taking money from the American government and I'm giving it to the poor. I'm giving it to the American Cancer Society. I'm giving it to the Children's Hospital. President Trump, give at least $1 million or so to the Children's Hospital. I'm giving it to the Children's Hospital. I'm giving it to the poor. I'm not putting it in my pocket. Yeah, I'm going to sue the government for $10 million. I'm going to win and I'm going to give it to the poor. How can you hate on that? That's not hating America. You see what I'm saying? That's just he hate the Democrats. If you a Democrat, then that's easy for you to say he hate America. He hate the Democrats. That's like the Republicans. They said Obama hated America. President Trump was trying to say Obama wasn't even an American citizen. That's buffoonery. You got to show how one of these candidates, hey, I'm saying that's not going to, the voters don't believe that. You can say what you want to. The voters, you got to show the voters. Show them how he hates America. Show them how he hates it. And not only can you have to show them, they got to buy what you're trying to show them. They didn't buy it in 2024. He won. I'm saying you're going to keep taking that kind of path in which you can't win on that path. Because I'm saying that's how the Democrats lost. They lost their way. They lost their focus because they trying to prosecute President Trump instead of prosecuting the case how they better for the American people than the Democrats was. You want me to run that back for you again? The Democrats lost the 2024 election because they spent 3 years previously trying to prosecute President Trump, and the Republicans in 3 years previously were signing up voters. The Democrats weren't signing up voters. They were spending their money trying to prosecute President Trump. And when they failed, it's like they lost their message. They lost their way. Stop trying to prosecute President Trump. Prosecute the case against. Jasmine got a job to do as a representative in the House of Representatives representing the 30th district in Dallas, in Texas, in Dallas. So she represents her constituents when she prosecuting cases against President Trump and her administration. Plus, she running in a Democratic primary. That could be expected. But what I'm trying to tell you guys, if you're going to prosecute the case against President Trump, you're not going to win the election. The voters don't care about that. They don't care. They know he a crook. They voted for him being a crook. They voted for whatever you say about him. The Epstein stuff, they didn't care about that, just like they didn't care about President Clinton having getting oral sex. They don't care about that. They care about they care about Ellis Peretti getting shot in his back. They care about that. They care about Renee Good getting shot in her. They care about that. I'm saying you just saying that he hate America and you're not gonna win no elections like that. You trying to win elections, aren't you? That's what goes into winning elections. Y'all see I do a live stream, it's like, but then whenever it's time, election time or something like that, that's because that's what goes into, that's what all these political channels on the internet is about, is election. During election time, our stuff gonna pick up, everybody's views gonna pick up. And then you talking about once we get to the presidential election, you know what I'm saying? Them channels that's when we started this channel. People gonna be tapping in. They want to hear it. Then the average American every day ain't into politics or talking politics 4 or 5 days a week like Ghostwriter. For 15, 20 hours a week talking politics on a live stream. The average American ain't into it like me and Donnie into it. You see what I'm saying? Like me and X Jordan into it. The average American ain't into politics like that. You know what I'm saying? But we are though, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So guys, I went an extra 30 minutes. I'm saying, guys, it's about 9 o'clock. Well, I did the whole 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Got a little give. It's about 9 o'clock a.m., y'all. So it's about that time. Donnie says, Jared, because saying Trump 2028 makes the opposition go into a fever. That's what, okay, so look, let me address this. So Jared is saying that President Trump saying that he gonna run in 2028 is an American. Am I correct or not correct? If you saying that, Jared, that is not American. Going against the U.S. Constitution is not American. As a soldier in the U.S. Army, I put my hand on the Bible and I took an oath and I swore to defend America against the American Constitution, excuse me. I swore to defend the U.S. Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So the oath of a U.S. soldier, the U.S. military, is to defend our Constitution. So anyone who goes against the Constitution is not I agree with that, Jared, but then I agree with what Donnie said too. President Trump, he likes putting people in a fever. He likes trolling people. I'm saying that to me, for a president to do that, I don't, but what can you say? He keep trolling people. We're going to take Greenland by military force. And he looking so serious, so you think he dead serious, but he know he going to backtrack this when he go to Europe. That's why he said it right before he went to Europe. Y'all notice that? So he know he go to Europe, he gonna backtrack this. He all serious. They sending NATO troops over there. They thinking he's serious. He playing the whole time. Jared, it's almost impossible to deal with an unserious politician like that when you're dealing with serious stuff. But that's what President Trump do. He troll people. All of them troll people. The whole White House. That's all they do is troll people. What can you say? I guess they feel like if you coming out there and protesting against them and you doing the stuff you doing against them, they going to get back at you. How they get back at you? They be trolling people. That's facts. But what I'm saying is that trolling, he ain't going to be doing all that trolling. And if you put Ghost Bomb, he ain't going to be doing all that. You got to calm that down. because there's consequences. You got Chinese EV. You go to Detroit and look across the river, and you're going to see a Chinese EV sitting up. Hey, Mark Corney, you know them things that you get at the car show where you put the car on like a platform? Mark Corney going to have like a 20-foot platform with 3 Chinese EVs pointing at Detroit, sitting across the river with the Canadian flag, Chinese EVs in Detroit, guys. That's what those kind of words and comments do. They get you lose millions, billions, and trillions. President Trump know that in business, but he said the world would be less exciting without him making those crazy comments. And yes, it would be less exciting without him. What would we have to talk about with Joe Biden was president? President Trump give us a whole lot to talk about. But I'm saying all the podcasters, the streamers, like people like Don Lemon, like their numbers are affected incredibly once. You see what I'm saying? Like after, you know what I'm saying, the President Trump leave the White House, what you gonna talk about? You hear what I'm saying? Guys, if y'all hadn't liked the video for me, man, double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell, guys. Y'all remember tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time, y'all can check in with me at 6:30. We got episode number 44 of Riding with Ghostwriter, man. We talking about Tellerico. I'm freestyling on your head, boy. I'm coming for you, Tellerico. Y'all tell Jasmine to tap in with us tomorrow, man, because I want to give her some good content to use on that boy. Tellerico, I'm coming for your head top. Tellerico, you said you ain't taking no corporate money and you got a super PAC running ads against Jasmine. That's as fake as it could get, Tellerico, man. I'm coming for your head top tomorrow morning. Freestyling a whole hour straight on you, Tellerico, before I get down in the chat and start reading comments. I'm freestyling a whole hour on you, litigating a whole case, no news stories on how Jasmine is going to beat you in that election. Y'all, I kind of might do it like today. Just let Jasmine say it in her own words, stuff that he's saying. Or I might run his Super Bowl commercial or his super PAC where he attacking a strong, incredible black female who is capable of motivating them black voters who ain't voting to go vote. Jasmine is that candidate that's capable of doing that. You see what I'm saying? And Tellerico, I don't know what you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know what you're doing. You trying to win an election that you know that you can't win. But you still trying, though. And I commend you for that. I can't hate on you for that. I think you should have got out the race like Colin Howard. That's a united Democratic Party having the most respect. Because I'm saying, what other Democrat in the state of Texas is ranked as high as Jasmine Crockett? She the most goated Democrat in the state. She the top ranked Democrat in the state. She the youngest in charge. So Tellerico, basically you trying to knock off the youngest in charge of the Democratic Party. You are the best gift for the Republican Party, bro. Don't get on Jasmine like that, bro. We gonna get on your head. I'm saying, Tellerico, you could be some dude that we really like, but you ain't gonna like me though after this race is over. Because when I endorse a candidate like that, that's how I do it. I want you to tap out, boy. I want you out this race. I'm not no Roland Martin. And you see how I call your name directly, boy. I'm not no Roland Martin. I'm not over here cheerleading for Jasmine. I really believe in her. And I'm talking about I'll black somebody out for that. Real talk, boy. I'll dot your I. Ghostwriter ain't no big fat, no little lazy pocket. None of that, boy. I'll dot your I. Real talk. I'll empty your bank account. I'll take all the money out your pocket over there. Real talk, man. I'm telling you, I could be as crazy as I want to. Jasmine the move, bro. We believe in Jasmine. We rhyme with Jasmine, and we fight for Jasmine. We fighting. We fighting for Jasmine. Fighting. Yes, fighting for Jasmine. We not just saying we support her. We going in for Jasmine, baby. That's Ghostwriter, baby. You know what I'm saying? I gave y'all the time, man. Y'all want some more time, another gift, another donation. I love y'all, man. You feel me? What we got, y'all? What we got? What we got, man? 2 hours and 39 minutes, man. I've been with y'all, man. Kicking it with y'all on this beautiful Friday morning. What temperature is? I don't even know. It's probably about 12 degrees, 13 degrees. You know what I'm saying? Out here in New York. Jared says, luckily, America is waking up to the nonsense of the extreme right. So most likely you won't be seeing a Republican president in 2028. I agree with that. Whether you say it's waking up to the extreme, well, it is extremism of the extreme right, but two, it's the way President Trump is governed, Jared. President Trump is governed, you know what I'm saying, to the extreme right. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that's ridiculous buffoonery. The enforcement of that immigration law, that's not tough. It's too far. So if that's what MAGA thinks that enforcement of immigration law is, yeah, I would say that, yeah, because that's crazy. You see what I'm saying? You can't enforce no law like that, shooting somebody in the head who ain't even got no weapon. And the other shooting, like I think so because he got a weapon and he kicked off your light the last time it was a protest, you gonna take the weapon, then shoot him. If you gonna shoot him, you gotta be smarter than the fifth grader. Don't pull the weapon out. You shot him in the back. He got a weapon in his back. All you gotta do, the shirt come up or something like that weapon and shoot up, and you get up and shoot him with the gun on him or beside him. I'm saying that was the most comical, craziest thing I ever seen in my life. The agent tiptoeing in there, like so after the story is, I seen that the agent, he didn't come from out of nowhere. He probably was the supervisor, the agent with the jacket on. He a supervisor, so he was over there with the rest of the ICE agents the whole time. So he probably just watching what they doing. So he tiptoe in there, and you see him pull the gun out. He grabbed the gun. You should have left it. He looking for the gun. He know he got a gun because he in his ankle first. How you in his ankle first? You looking for a gun. He in the and then he in his waistband. He in the places where you keep a pistol at. So you didn't pull the gun out. You didn't find the gun, and then you yell gun, gun, gun. Then why you shooting? If the agent got the gun, they listen. If you look and we didn't see the agent pull the gun out, then why are you shooting anyway? You know you didn't shoot. You didn't see Ellis Peretti with no gun in his hand ever. So why you ever fired a shot? And see, President Trump kind of got smart and walked back on that. But see, the Democrats, all they got to do, because I'm talking about if everybody in America, you count out the babies, count out all the people who under. What? Who can't vote? Who's 17 or under? How many people is that? If we got to make an estimate, it's at least 70 or 80 million. And a lot of them saw the video too. You forming in their young minds. They seen Charlie Kirk get shot too. A lot of them did too. That's a whole nother live stream though. But I'm saying though, out the voters, you got 200 and something million people. More people saw the video than voters. It's only 170 million people. You got over 200 million people saw the video. I'm saying everybody of age that matters seen that video. You might have 10 people. You know what I'm saying? A small percentage of people who didn't. And they got the account from somebody who's seen it. It's like a very popular movie that we all know. Everybody went and watched the movie. And if they don't, most people got the account of what happened in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Most people who care. That's something that you're going to care about. Somebody getting shot in the face, and you right next to Wisconsin and Michigan. That's a regional issue. That's a worldwide issue, but it's going to affect. They're going to feel it on the ground regionally. It's going to spray it. It's going to become something that, and you got Jared in the live stream talking about how President Trump now is un-American because of Renee Good and Ellis Peretti. You don't understand how much you helped their argument so much, bro. You helped their argument so much. King Fire says they're all trigger happy because they have easy get off and getaway pass. And see, that's something the American people know. So King Fire, when they go vote and they know that, Because what you said, all Jasmine got to do is play that. Oh, they know they could get away with this. Has any one of these dudes been tried or got in trouble? President Trump, he don't realize the butterfly effect. Every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. You're going to be a consequence for that. You're going to play politically. Has any of these guys ever got in trouble? The Democrats going to get them, though. Don't worry about it, King Fire. Just got to give it some time. Got to be patient. I'm a legal person. I understand you got to be patient in this game. It take us a year. In federal court, the average court case, 18, 19 months. 19 months. If you sue in the city, you got to wait 3 months to sue. That's 22 months. The average case, you going to trial. You got to be patient in this game. Politics almost just like the law. It's a slow game. It's all about laws. You got to be patient in this game. Democrats going to get them. But I'm saying in the meantime, how President Trump going to pay for it is when Jasmine play that commercial and say this dude just did X, Y, and Z. They showing you the video. What? We already seen it, but you know, the people who might not are undecided voters who forgot about this, you know, you talking about November, we going to benefit forgot about this. But it's going to, that campaign time, these stories going to come back up. Those videos that them Democrats smart going to be played. That's the best tool for a Democrat in the campaign, is that video. And saying, ain't none of them got in trouble. You going to let them get, you going to vote for a Republican who allowed them to kill people like that. If you vote for him now, it ain't no more a major election, so you know he could just do anything after that. He gonna go crazy. Yeah, you scare people. The court's gonna be to have him in the chokehold by then. You see what I'm saying? His administration and stuff that they don't want him to do or they think is against the Constitution. But the American public don't have to know that. You tell the American public that if he win another election, he gonna be able to do whatever he want to do. That scared the snot out of them. Democrats win 1,000 seats. It ain't even 1,000 seats. They're going to win seats from the next midterms, too. You feel what I'm saying? It's just your approach, man. It's all your approach. It's all strategy and it's all approach. It's layers of thinking. It's like most people only think on one layer. Some people 2 layered, or smart people on 3 layers. Ghosts think on 7 layers. And the best way to win is with the truth and with honesty. Because the people know you lying. They know when you lying. You hear all the people in the stream down there, in the chat down there, talking about politicians and how politicians lie to people all the time. How we don't trust politicians. We don't trust government. The people know you lying. So why lie? Like Donnie, we talked about earlier, you have a problem with affordability. You're going to come out and tell them it's a hoax. Your numbers steady dropping. And so if it's not a hoax, you're going to come out and tell them about your GDP and Joe Biden and your numbers steady dropping. The way your numbers probably going to rise is where you just go out there and tell them, hey, listen, y'all, you know what I'm saying? The prices ain't going back down, but I got something for you. It's a $2,000 check. I bet you your numbers should shoot through the roof. It's Big Ghostwriter, man. I love y'all. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., I gave y'all a sample, like 30 minutes of it. You know what I'm saying? Some great content, man. Talking about James Tellerico and Jasmine Crockett. It's legal wars. We could call tomorrow's episode political wars. Because for a whole hour, y'all want to see Ghostwriter? Bro, I'm going to be giving y'all stats and facts and game, but I'm going to be clowning too, bro. James Tellerico, man, you can't go at Jasmine like that. That's a no-go. You got a super PAC and you against that, so you fake. You try to talk noise about Colin and he check you and you denied it, so you weak. You faking weak. James Tellerico, we on your head in the morning. Hey, you talking about unity? It ain't no unity if Jasmine loses. We talk about unity if Jasmine wins. If Jasmine don't win, it's no unity. That unity talk was for America. It wasn't for no Democratic Party in the middle of no fight. It ain't in no election. When we talking about election, to me, that's like a court case. You can't tell me it's no unity and I'm suing this city. They violated my civil rights. It ain't going to be no unity until they indemnify me, until they do the right thing. That's when it's unity. So you can't tell me it's no unity, Jasmine. We going against this dude. We finna walk the dog on this fake weak dude. You see he coming after you. You see he ain't doing it directly, but his super PAC that he said he wasn't taking no money for, that he try to act like he a fake AOC and a fake Bernie Sanders, a super PAC he said he ain't taking no money from. He using them to go after Jasmine. You know, she a black woman. She can't win. Might as well said it. I'm a white dude. I'm a young, good-looking, fresh-looking white dude. A Presbyterian preacher, by the way. A good-looking young white dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a progressive like AOC and Bernie Sanders. No, you ain't. You taking big money. You a Texas Republican. I don't know about Democrat. You a Texas whatever. Jasmine taking $5, $10 donations from regular people because she got the real support. And with less money, just like Mendami, with less money, just like, what his name, Ramon or whatever, that Texas Democrat that just won, with less money, Mr. Tellerico, she gonna walk the dog on you. You could go back and tell James Carville and all of them, I said that, with less money, because it's a Democratic primary. She got a 13-plus lead over you amongst Democrats, and then she gonna get enough independents who ain't gonna vote for you. We gonna make sure of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we running. Jasmine get on them airwaves. She run that social media campaign. We gonna get them numbers right. We got the lead on them right now. We gonna close out them undecideds, and it's a wrap, bro. Big ghostwriter, man. You know what I'm saying? If you talk about undecided amongst Democrats, I doubt it's 21%. And if it is, she winning them by 13%. He not getting on them 21% amongst Democrats. You're talking about independents, left-leaning independents. How many left-leaning independents do you have in Texas? You got more potential Democrats or registered Democrats who not working than you do left-leaning independent in Texas. That's what I'm saying, Jane. He don't have the numbers. You got to listen to the brain. The only way she could lose is if she don't execute and turn out those voters. That's the way she loses. But I'm saying she's winning amongst Democrats, women. She going to get a stronger turnout of voters, solid, those older black voters. He's trying to run a Super Bowl ad in Houston. He's trying to listen to ghosts. Those older black voters. If I was her, I would target them in Austin and definitely in Dallas. She probably don't feel like she got to work as hard as Dallas because that's where she's from. They're going to show up for her anyway. But I'm saying I would target, you need them in Houston. The numbers are in Houston. But I would target them in Dallas too and in Austin as well. Them older black voters all across Texas. These females, younger females that idolize her. Yeah, boy. We coming through, bro. It's big ghostwriter. 7 a.m. tomorrow. Y'all call y'all boy James Tellerico and y'all tell him to come get on the live stream real quick. I want to talk to you real quick, my boy. Don't you ever in your life disrespect. Don't disrespect that. That's what that means, what it means to Texas, what it means to America. I could see this young lady running for president in just a few years, not too much longer. What that means to America, boy, you taking that super PAC money and you got them behind the scenes disrespecting Jasmine. I got a lot of love for you, James Carville, but I seen you on the couch with Tellerico. That's not the move. That's a failed move. Y'all had 30 years to try with that white boy. 30 years to try with a white boy, and you've been losing for 30 years with that white boy or with that Hispanic boy. And you think you need those black voters. I don't see how they that slow. Those are the ones who, if they vote and Beto wins, if they vote and Colin Allred wins, you got more Democrats, you got more minorities. You need that large swath of black voters who not voting to get you over the edge. They not voting for that white boy, that fake weak white boy. I love y'all. Man, it's a shame I have to call that boy fake and weak, and at the same time, I got to tell you about Jesus, though, because I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, like, I hate to be like, but it's a battle, man. I always tell my mama about that angel with that sword. You know what I'm saying? Michael. When Michael come for you, you already know what time it is. Dripping with blood. You can't beat him. Satan tried to beat him. You can't beat him. He one of God's mighty angels, man. You know what I'm saying? He got that sword. He the captain. of God's army. This is real talk. You see what I'm saying? And he got a sword. So, you know what I'm saying? There's times when, you know what I'm saying, you got to pick up that sword. There ain't no being nice, because you got to fight. This is a fight for the future of the state of Texas. It's a battle. And it's a battle, and you trying to win this battle. So it ain't being nice. And you got to draw a huge contrast between Jasmine and that fake weak white boy. He's just a regular polished politician. Listen, at least I could say Paxton is more like Trump. He's more like authentic. He might be corrupt or whatever, but he's more open and authentic with whatever he's doing. That's probably how he get caught, because he can't hide stuff good. Paxton. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying, to me, Tellerico, hearing you say you ain't taking super PAC money, and then you got a super PAC attacking a black woman, and at the same time you make a comment about Colin Allred, and then trying to walk back off the comment really like you really ain't with what you said, man, I'm saying that look like some clown stuff, bro. I know you trying to stir it up, you know what I'm saying, because you losing, and you see the handwriting on the wall, spending all that money, wild and crazy money, and they finna spend $100 million to watch you lose. Not really. But if they spend $5 million, they gonna watch you lose. Because Jasmine the move. But even though so, man, I say I'm a Christian, bro. I'm a real Christian. I believe Jesus Christ suffered, bled, and died on the cross for my sins. The blood that Jesus shed for my sins, it washes away my sins. I don't believe in two men getting married. I tell Jasmine that to her face. She know ghosts. She know that's what ghosts believe. She called me a Republican. I don't believe in transgenders. I tell them to their face, I'm not no Republican, I'm a Christian. And even though they might be Christians, I take a whole stronger stand on that. You see what I'm saying? The only reason I support her is because I know that she won't be able to be capable of writing a law to enact any of that stuff. But I don't believe in none of that. I believe in the blood of Jesus. I believe that stuff is sin. I believe it's against nature. I believe it's against God. And I believe I don't hate those people, though. I love transgenders. I love gay people just like I love a fornicator. If I'm out there sleeping with a bunch of girls I ain't married to, God told me that's wrong, just like being gay is wrong. Ain't no difference. It's sins. We need forgiveness of them sins. I don't care if you gay, transgender, what you are. We get forgiveness of or a fornicator or adulterer. You sleeping with other men's wives. You need forgiveness for that. You're going to burn in hell for that. I don't care what your mama told you. You got a soul. And when you die, your soul going to go to a spiritual jail. That's what I call it, a spiritual jail. Just like you would go to jail on earth for crime, you go to that spiritual jail when you die is going to be hell for your soul, for your sins. I believe that. And I believe Jesus died. He shed his blood on the cross as a payment for your sins. And that sacrifice that he made on the cross for you, I believe that it forgives you of your sins. And if you accept that, it'll save your soul from that hell. You will receive a pardon from God. That's what I believe, man. That's my whole belief, man. That's my testimony. God saved me. In August of 2018, he forgave me and he saved me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in church. I grew up a sinner. It's people who don't like me right now, probably on this live stream or was on this live stream. It's people who talk negative to me about me right now, but it's all about my past. It's all about before Jesus saved me. I don't care what no man believe or how no man feel about me. Jesus forgave me of my sins just like he forgave him of his sins. He asked Jesus once, I asked Jesus 10 times. In the end, as long as you get saved, ain't none of that matters. You don't understand what really matters. What really matters is if you truly in your lifetime, in your heart, accept Jesus as your personal savior. And if you do, he gonna save you, period, point blank. That's the end of it. God is not no man. He don't think like no man. He don't play no games like no man. And because of that, when I wake up every day, regardless of what situation I'm in, I wake up and I say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Y'all, that's my time, man. You know what I'm saying? This big ghostwriter, I told y'all, James Tellerico, I'm on your head for a whole hour, boy. I want all the smoke. 7 a.m. Eastern time, y'all. I'm out.